Holy Emmanuel, I Selassie.
Selassie, Jah,
Yeah, yeah.
Rastafari.
Welcome to another program hosted by the EABIC, Council of Elders. Rastafari.
Today we speak about the unsung heroes, the honorable empresses at our side.
At Frederiksted Federal Credit Union, membership means more than banking. It means belonging to a community that puts people first.
Sound? Nah, you're not sound.
Greetings and welcome. Greetings and welcome to another presentation by the EABIC Council of Elders. Today's presentation is on Africa's Woman Day and a look into the afterlife coming forth by day. Today is Sunday, July 26, 2026. My Lord and Empress, Honorable Priest.
Virtual reverence in the courts of Rastafari universally, internationally. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. His foundation is in the holy mountains. The Lord of the gates of Zion, more than all dwelling places of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of God, Selah, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to them that know me. Behold, Philistia Tyre with Ethiopia. This man was born there. King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for us brethren and sisters to dwell together in unity and love. It's like the precious oil upon our head that went down onto our beard. Even Aaron's beard that went down onto the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descend upon the mountain of Zion. From where the Lord commanded his majesty blessings, even life and love forevermore. So hail our God, Selassie I, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Our Almighty God, Rastafari, great and terrible God, Rastafari is the Almighty God. Jah, who seated in Zion and reign in the hearts of our flesh. How thou most thy eternal Father, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us, Lord. And thy face to shine on us, thy children, that we can redeem. O thou Jah, Rastafari, clean Jah, Rastafari. And of Zion it said that this and that man was born here, and the highest in search shall establish her. God shall count when he set up the people that this and that man was born in her. As well as the singers of players of instruments shall be there. All our springs are in thee. Great God, Jehovah, Jah, Rastafari, Holy Emmanuel I, Jah, Rastafari. Blessed heart of love, each and every one, worldwide international. Blessed heart of celebration, do give thanks for the gathering strong, coming together to fellowship one to another. Give thanks for the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, Church of True Divine Salvation, and the Council of Elders coming forward with a moral and ethical point of view, to put everything in the right perspective, to strengthen the right and don't give no strength to the wrong. So we give thanks to each and everyone who is out here today, make time out from their busy schedule to come and fellowship with us one to another. Telling me what God tell you, and I tell you what he tell me, and we'll hear him speaking loud and clear. My Lord and Empress. Well, today I am the one who will bless the opening with a chorus. So we give thanks. A little more oil in my lamp keeps it burning. A little more oil in my lamp, I pray. Lord, I pray a little more oil in my lamp keeps it burning. Keeps it burning till the break of day. Yeah, a little more oil in my lamp keeps it burning. A little more oil in my lamp. I pray, Lord, I pray a little more oil in my lamp keeps it burning, keeps it burning till the break of day. One more time. A little more oil in my lamp keeps it burning, a little more oil in my lamp. I pray, Lord, I pray a little more oil in my lamp keeps it burning, keeps it burning till the break of day. In a holy Mount Zion, 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 I love holy Mount Zion, Zion, land most high, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Blessed be the ties that keep our hearts in one creation, love, the black Christ. Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari, my Lord and Empress, Majesty bless. Honorable Priest Evans, is he
Worthy
here?
chair,
My Lord.
worthy God. Give
We
thanks,
are look for you, you know, but give thanks you are found. My Lord.
Give thanks,
Majesty.
Priest Ainsley. You have done
Rastafari.
well.
Rastafari.
Yes,
Yes,
my
Priest
Lord and
Evans.
Empress.
You can
Yes,
bless us
sir.
with a welcome.
Yes, my Lord and Empress. True hearted welcome to each and every one, you know. And we give thanks, you know, for the information we are about to receive in this program today. Give thanks for all the preparation and all the, you know, everything that was put forward today. It wasn't just done just by research and enough works, you know. So we give thanks and glorify all listening ears and all viewers, you know. And as we hear the topic, Africa Woman Today, give thanks for our continent that it is so vast. It has so much we can learn from the continent and from the history of the continent. We can put on programs from now till thy kingdom come to really learn the history of Africa, you know. So we give thanks and glorify that we could be African-minded people and sow the seed of Africa and see our, you know, see it flourish, you know. So we give thanks and glorify each and every one, African-minded sons and daughters. I and I,
And I,
Selassie I,
Selassie I, Jah,
Jah, Rastafari,
Rastafari, my
my
Lord.
Lord and Empress, blessed Lord.
Blessed love,
Honorable
my
Christian,
Honorable blessed love, my Lord. And I am Honorable Empress Dion, and this is the roll call for the 26th of July, 2026. Honorable Priest Ainsley, Chair.
Majesty bless.
Honorable Priest Earl. Honorable Priest Rasavana.
Present family, give thanks.
Honorable Priest Stefan.
So greeting,
Honorable Priest Adagon.
Blessed Love Royal Family present.
Honorable Priest Brown. Honorable Priest Aswad. Honorable Bobo Khan. Honorable Leading Empress, Empress Lily May.
Blessed love to one and all. Happy celebration.
Blessed love, Honorable Empress, Honorable Leading Empress, Empress Miriam.
Love, 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 beloved. Give thanks.
Honorable Empress Trisha.
Blessed love, royal family.
And I am Honorable Empress Dion. Let the record show at the beginning of the meeting, there were 12 participants present.
Yeah, man.
Please,
One perfect love, Royal Empress. Pardon.
bless 7-star General.
Did you call Priest Brown?
Yes, I
Yes.
did. He did answer. It's Bobo Ken. He didn't get to
I
answer.
love my Lord and Empress, honorable.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard
yeah.
you.
You know, Bobo can get in a fight with the phone.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empresses. My
Blessed
only problem, I am present, Priest Oswald. Heart of celebration to one another.
Yes,
my
My
and
lord.
Priest didn't get to answer.
Yeah.
Yes, love.
All right.
Inspiration.
Blessed love. Yes, I know your phone is very low.
Yeah, we know this.
So,
Honorable Priest Sevens, my lord.
Blessed.
Is Empress Nicole in your presence?
I'll have to walk around and reach to her.
Well, we want the Council of Elders want to give her a royal Council of Elder Earth Strong blessings.
Well, let me pass the message. I'll come again.
okay, Honorable Empress Nico. So there are 13 participants present. Please
Okay.
remember to stay hydrated. And if you look at your screen, you will see it have where we can eat our water as well as drink it. So if you don't feel to drink it, you can have it in a fruit or a vegetable, such as cucumber, watermelon, strawberries, grapefruit, kale. What's that? Is squash it name? Where's the orange fruit? Because it don't quite
It look
look
like
like
pawpaw.
pumpkin.
It look like cantaloupe.
But remember to stay hydrated in this hot weather so we can eat and drink our water. Please
Give thanks.
remember to take notes. And like, share, and subscribe because we are streaming live on YouTube. So to our YouTube family, remember to ask your questions and it will be answered. So love, 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 and give thanks once again for being here to share in our learning experience. As the priest rightfully said in his opening word, we can learn from now till thy kingdom come. There is still more learning when it comes to our great continent. So let's get ready to be inspired by Honorable Empress Trisha with our inspiration of the day. Blessed love.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress. I do give thanks for this new day. Give thanks for life. We have a very impactful and powerful program coming forward. But for now, we are going to do the inspiration by our Queen Sister, Queen Mother Ayanla Van Zandt, Acts of Faith. If your brain can move your body with a split-second command thought, imagine what it can do with concentrated and directed thought. Dr. Thurman Evans. Everyone wants to know the secret of a long, happy, prosperous, and successful life. It's no secret. It's an attitude, an energy, a formula. Want to know it? Here it is. 1, do all things in peace. 2, achieve personal unity of heart and mind. 3, learn truth. 4, maintain your body. 5, correct character imperfections. 6, be free from fear. 7, live in harmony with all people. 8, eliminate worry. 9, be poised. 10, give love. 11, admire, respect, and trust yourself. 12, know God. 13, express God. 14, know what works for you. 15, help others. 16, make, have, and keep good friends. 17, solve your own problems. 18, find your proper place. 19, have a true marriage. 20, discover and use your personal talents. 21, acquire knowledge. 22, share what you learn with others. 23, relax. 24, sleep well. 25, awake with enthusiasm. 26, stop unwanted habits. 27, think positively. And 28, always give thanks for everything you have. I will prosper because I give thanks. Reflection of the day. How often do you give thanks? Daily, weekly, monthly, inconsistently, rarely? Today, go for 101 spoken thank yous, my Lord and Empress. Blessed God. Back to the chair.
Majesty bless Honorable Empress for such an inspirational word moving forward, you know. I have a thing with me that say, when they say taking it day by day, I was saying when I say, may I take it moment by moment. You know? So for everything, we give thanks. Moving forward.
The one thing that I would add is from the first agreement, because we did do the 4 agreements several months ago, for us to be careful with our words. My Lord and Empress, blessing.
Continue. Yeah, them I hear me proper?
Loud
Yes,
and
my
clear.
Yeah,
lord.
them here.
Loud and
Yes,
clear.
Okay. The EABIC Council of Elders, in another revolutionary move, is unfolding some information to the Pan-African world. A historic occasion, like most other events, where the African females led the initiative. It is underplayed, minimized, and overlooked. I am referring to the preemptive gathering of the African Revolutionary Queens. On the 31st of July, 1962, the courageous and vigilant intellectual revolutionary African Queens hosted the first Woman Pan-African Conference in Dar es Salaam. Many historic figures of the 20th century were present, a gathering that set a trend which quickly took root, following on the heels of the 1962 Gathering of Queens of Africa was in 1963 established by the OAU by the Kings of Africa. I of the Council of Elders drew a correlation of both events to show the balance and united thoughts which existed in the Pan-African community during that era. The Council invites all females of African descent to feel free to come and participate in our programs. It will help to provide a balance in thoughts and actions as I endeavors to emancipate I and myself from the bondage of ignorance. Let the balance center us and propel us to a progressive future. Ashe, my Lord and Empress, blessed. So it's an encouragement, moving forward. It's a growth, watering the seeds. So continue with our presentation.
Honorable Priest Savannah, will you be doing the coming forth by day?
Yes, Royal Empress. We will start the first part of the program today with we're going to take a little quick look into the scrolls that originally were the foundation of the modern day Bible that is used today, the King James Version. The coming forth by day is also known as the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It is a narrative that is a difficult read for those that don't understand it, which is most of I and because of how it is written and the publications that are available don't do it the justice of the original scrolls themselves, because the original scrolls were incantations. It's not about the allegorical stories, the biblical stories that we are used to in the King James Version. The coming forth by day is about our ancestral tradition, ancestral worship, our how we view our path from this life to the next plane of existence. The coming forth by day is a book that what they would call is a book of spells. Chants that you chant to open up portals into the afterlife, as it is known through the African tradition. Now, we're not talking about, and I don't want people to get this wrong, we're not talking about some hocus pocus kind of witch and warlocks, goblins and all of that stuff. We are talking about having the command of words, knowing how to put your words together to create a key, an energy that unlocks consciousness that interfaces I and I with our ancestors. See, it is also a book that teaches you how to prepare for that eventual tradition. I know as Rastafari, we fear that aspect of things, and we have created a kind of subculture around it, because first we misunderstood what eternal life meant, and we were looking at living that life in a human construct, which has a limitation on it. As greater knowledge grows, as you grow and you become wise, they say an elder is a true berry, a library, meaning a well of information. As we get wiser, as we grow in our experience, we have come to understand what eternal life truly means and how do we live forever. See, as science teaches us, energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy just exists as energy eternally. It changes form and shape, takes on different vessels, but the source of that energy is eternal. Now, the coming forth by day, it prepares your mindset
It teaches you how to prepare your entire reality for that moment. And we're not saying now we're gonna dwell on transitioning, because the man said, give us life for us to live it abundantly and prosperously. But our ancestors, they understood what transitioning meant. They did not hold it to be a judgment or a fearful moment. They knew that our existence didn't end with the dropping of the physical temple, that there was a next plane of existence. Now, the understanding of our ancestors and through this book of Coming Forth by Day teaches us that how we live in this present moment on earth is what opens the portal to the next plane of your existence. The Coming Forth by Day is a narrative that leads you on that path, teaches you now when that time comes how to shape your meditation and to fashion your words that you can create that smooth transition, that opening of the next portal where you remove the sting of death. Like the prophecy says, death has no more sting. You remove that sting of death, that fearfulness, that the way religion teaches us that death is the consequence of sin. When science disproves that, because science has proven that the human biology has a duration, can only last for so long. Because you're born as you're created as a fetus. The two energies come together to create that fetus, the male and the female. And it starts without even shape or form in a sense. And as it matures, as it grows within the vessel, the womb, it takes that shape, it takes its features and its gender and all of that as it develops. Then it goes from that now to being born into the world, coming out of that womb, that incubator, into the physical world. And from the moment it comes into that physical world, it continues to grow. Even as we get elder, eldership is growing. It's not something, in the modern world, we are taught to even feel a way about getting elder, getting up in your age, to growing. It's the way of life. It's the law of nature. You're born as a babe, you grow into an adult, and then you continue to grow into your golden years. The Coming Forth by Day teaches us how to prepare for those moments, how to understand those moments on a greater level than you would ever get out of the King James Version, because that teaches you that it's a punishment. It's the way it is coined, it puts a fear in you. When we don't fear the moon coming up at night or the sun going down, because we know it's gonna rise again the other dawn. It's a natural process of life. Again, the Coming Forth by Day prepares us for that moment in time. And the reason why I choose to open today's program with that piece of information is because we'll be talking about our ancestors coming up shortly. We will be getting deep into details of what took place back then. Majority, if not all of who we will be speaking about, have transitioned. They are in the realm of the ancestors. So we will be, in some sense, taking a look into the pre-life and the post-life as we go through this program. So just wanted to set the tone and give a little, thought and a little shape to this whole process that we will be sharing today. Give thanks. I think I've overstayed my time. Give thanks, family, as we move on. Bless.
Majesty bless. Honorable Empress Dion. Yeah, and Empress Dion.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress.
Majesty.
All African Women's Conference, July 1962. At the historical July 1962 All African Women's Conference in Dar es Salaam, delegates from 14 independent African nations and 10 national liberation movements passed pivotal resolutions. These declarations prioritize total colonial liberation, the eradication of apartheid, and the institutionalization of women's socio-economic equality. The key historical resolutions and actions passed at the conference include: 1. Total liberation and anti-colonialism, eradicating colonial rule. Delegates resolved to form a unified front to actively dismantle European colonial rule across the remaining occupied territories in Africa. Supporting liberation movements. The conference pledged formal material, logistical, and political solidarity to the national liberation struggles. Ending apartheid. Women leaders issued a fierce collective condemnation demanding the total dismantling of segregation and apartheid in South Africa. Gender equality and political power. Socio-economic equality. Resolutions demanded that newly independent African governments grant women equal rights regarding wages, education, property ownership, and legal status. Political decision making. The Assembly established that women must have a direct, active role within political leadership and state decision-making frameworks. Institutional unity and celebration. Founding the Continental Platform, the conference formally resolved to create a permanent umbrella organization, initially called Union of African Women, which later evolved into the Pan-African Women's Organization, or PAWO. This occurred nearly a full year before male African heads of state founded the Organization of African Unity, OAU. Wow. Proclaiming African Women's Day. Delegates officially established 31st July as an annual continent-wide commemoration to honor the political, social, and economic contributions of African women. Conference organizers. In 1962, pardon me, the 1962 Conference of African Women, which established the Pan-African Women's Organization, was organized and led by key feminist and anti-colonial leaders, including Awa Kita, Janine Martin Sisi, and Bibi Titi Mohammed. Awa Kita was a trade unionist and activist from Mali who helped lead the preparatory planning meetings. Janine Martin Sisi was a teacher and activist from Guinea who co-led the foundational meetings leading up to the Dar es Salaam conference. Bibi Titi Mohammed, prominent Tanzanian leader of the women's wing of TANU, who hosted the organized the event in Dar es Salaam, Tanganyika. Pulama Kesolona. Let me repeat that. Pumla Kesonkol, South African Ugandan women's rights campaigner who played a central role in the proceedings.
I can read it. Jamaican, my Lord and Empress, give thanks. Jamaican Pan-Africanist. The pioneering Jamaican Pan-Africanist Amy Ashwood Garvey was one of the prominent Caribbean women who attended and lent her voice to the foundational All-African Women's Conference in Dar es Salaam in July 1962. This historic gathering of women leaders from across the continent and the diaspora formally established what is known as the Pan-African Women's Organization, the PAWO, dedicated to anti-colonialism and women's transnational solidarity. The name Garvey is commonly associated with Marcus Garvey and his second wife, Amy Jakes Garvey. But to do so is to overlook the contribution to the Black feminism and the struggle for racial equality and Black liberation of Amy Ashwood Garvey. Born on January 10, 1897, in Port Antonio, Jamaica, to Michael Delbert Ashwood, a businessman, and Maudrina Thompson, Ashwood Garvey spent most of her youth in Panama before returning to Jamaica in 1904. As a child, her great-grandmother shared memories of being trafficked across the Atlantic from Ghana to Jamaica, helping Ashwood Garvey develop an understanding of her family lineage and heritage. These stories were an entry point to her desire and passion for activism. Though Ashwood Garvey co-founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA, and the newspaper Negro World with Marcus Garvey, she became one of the first directors for the Black Star Line and was also the secretary. Their divorce and his subsequent marriage to Amy Jakes Garvey resulted in her erasure from the history of these organizations. After her divorce, Ashwood Garvey moved back to London in 1934, continuing her work. She opened the Florence Mills Social Club, a space that was part restaurant, part jazz club, and part social center for Black individuals devoted to Pan-Africanism. In 1945, Garvey became involved in the organizing of the first session of the 5th Pan-African Congress in Manchester, England. She was one of 2 women presenters, and she seized the opportunity to speak out on the need for independence from colonial rule and the issues that Jamaican women dealt with. In 1953, she helped establish the Afro Women's Center, later renamed the Afro People's Center. In Ashwood Garvey's words, it was a place for the spiritual, social, and political advancement of women. Over the next 15 years, Garvey traveled to Liberia, Ghana, Jubail, New York City, Jamaica, and England, amongst other places, to set up organizations and hold talks aimed at creating a transnational network of Black individuals working toward Pan-African solidarity. Diaspora women in Pan-Africanists. Diaspora women Pan-Africanists are global activists, intellectuals, and organizers from the African diaspora who dedicated their lives to fighting colonialism, racial oppression, and championing the unity and liberation of Black people worldwide. Some of the most notable names include 1. Amy Ashwood Garvey, Jamaica, co-founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA, alongside Marcus Garvey. She was a pioneering Pan-Africanist who organized networks of resistance and championed women's equality within the movement. Claudia Jones of Trinidad and Tobago and the United Kingdom, a radical feminist, communist, and anti-imperialist. She was instrumental in forging global Black solidarity and founded the West Indian Gazette. Erna Broad-Burr, Jamaican, a prominent contemporary sociologist and intellectual whose writing, politics, and scholarship insist on viewing Black liberation through the lens of a unified African diaspora rather than isolated regional identities. Anna Julia Cooper of the United States, a pioneering educator and early Black feminist who attended the first Pan-African Conference in London in 1900, famously presenting on the preservation of racial individuality and global Black elevation. Adelaide Smith Casely Hayford from the UK and Sierra Leone, co-founder of the African Association, an early forerunner organization to the Pan-African movement, who traveled extensively to promote political and cultural advancement for African people. Alice Victoria Kinloch, South Africa, a foundational, though often historically overlooked female activist who lived in Britain and campaigned against racial oppression alongside key male figures to help launch the modern Pan-African movement. Champions of the anti-colonial struggle. These women leverage international networks to fight colonialism and racial oppression across the West Indies, Europe, and the Americas. Amy Ashwood Garvey of Jamaica co-founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association. She organized the historic 5th Pan-African Congress in 1945. Claudia Jones of Trinidad and Tobago, a journalist and communist organizer, She founded the West Indian Gazette in London and created the Notting Hill Carnival to notify the Caribbean diaspora. Unify, I pray. Notting Hill Carnival to unify the Caribbean diaspora. Elma Francois, St. Vincent and Trinidad and Tobago. A radical labor leader, she founded the Negro Welfare Cultural and Social Association to fight British colonialism and global fascism. Una Marson, Jamaica, a poet, playwright, and BBC broadcaster. She became the first Black woman employed at the League of Nations, advocating for global racial justice. These women connected the civil rights struggle in the United States to liberation movements across the African continent. 1. Anna Julia Cooper, an early Black feminist scholar. She was one of only a few women to address the first Pan-African Conference in London in the 1900s. Audley Queen Mother Moore, a dedicated organizer who moved from the UNIA to communist circles. She championed the global reparations movement and African diaspora citizenship. Mary McLeod Bethune, an educator and civil rights leader. She founded the National Council of Negro Women and actively supported African liberation leaders at the United Nations Founding Conference. Eslanda Good Robeson, an anthropologist and author. She traveled extensively through Africa, writing influential anti-colonial texts and co-founding the Council on African Affairs. Una Marson, 1905 to 1965, was a trailblazing Jamaican Pan-Africanist, feminist, poet, and broadcaster who uniquely fused cultural nationalism with international Black solidarity. Biographer Delia Jarrett Macaulay famously recognized her as the first Black British feminist to speak out against racism and sexism in Britain. Her life and career bridged the Caribbean, Europe, and the global African diaspora through several historic milestones. Born in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, Marson began her career as a journalist in Kingston. In 1928, she launched The Cosmopolitan, becoming Jamaica's first female editor and publisher of a magazine. The publication focused heavily on gender equality, labor rights, and local literature. When Marson moved to London in 1932, her exposure to systemic British racism radically shifted her work toward anti-colonialism and Pan-Africanism. She worked closely with founder Harold Moody of the League of Colored Peoples and became the editor of the organization's influential journal, The Keys. Through this network, she collaborated with prominent Pan-African intellectuals like C.L.R. James, George Padmore, and Jomo Kenyatta. Following the fascist Italian invasion of Ethiopia, Marson served as a secretary to the Ethiopian legation. In 1936, she accompanied Emperor Haile Selassie I to Geneva, standing in the diplomatic gallery as he made his historic appeal to the League of Nations. During World War II, Marston became the first Black female broadcaster employed by the BBC. At the University of the West Indies Press, she took over the program, calling the West Indies and transformed it into Caribbean Voices. This program became a critical literary incubator for the African diaspora, broadcasting the early works of legendary Caribbean writers like Samuel Selvon and Nobel laureate Derek Walcott back to the region. Marston used her poetry and theater to challenge colonial beauty standards and center working-class Black identity. Her famous 1937 poetry collection, The Moth and the Star, featured groundbreaking poems like Kinky Hair Blues and Little Brown Girl. Which urged Black women to embrace their natural hair and reject Eurocentric aesthetics decades before the Black is Beautiful movement. Later in life, returning to Jamaica, she also became one of the earliest middle-class defenders of the Rastafari movement against state persecution. To be continued with a video.
Rastafari, great Pan-African woman, you know.
Yes,
All of them, man, great queens of Africa, you know. Yeah. Erased out of history, but the reality still remains. You know, when you do find the narrative, you see how great they have been, how they blaze the trail equally to any male counterpart that became famous. We glorify the queens of Africa.
This is
As a balance.
this is why when we even get the yes, that's why when we even get the go ahead.
We're not seeing the picture though, you know.
In the African social construct.
Yeah.
Finish it off, Honorable.
Especially among the people of
what I was saying.
ancient Mali,
When God tell us put the woman up.
griots or traditional musicians. In the African social construct, especially among the people of ancient Mali, griots or traditional musicians played crucial roles in educating the masses about the history of the land, motivating warriors and even tutoring future leaders. Some of the roles played by ancient griots had been adopted by many of our post-colonial musicians who bravely took it upon themselves to politically educate the masses for self-determination at a time when Africa was void of strong political voices. Africa! In an attempt to perpetuate imperialism, Africa's education system was biasly eroded. Kwame Sankara, etc. At a time when conscious revolutionaries like Steve Biko were taken down, the continent needed voices that can reach far and beyond. However, all hope wasn't lost as the tom-tom of the revolution was still echoing louder through the talking drum in the beautiful voice of Lucky Dube or the chanting voice of Bob Marley from the island of Jamaica. The golden voice of Salif Keita, Fela Kuti, Mariam Makeba, Ismail Youssou N'Dour, just to name a few. In this video, we choose to reflect on one of the greatest Pan-African songs of all time by Youssou N'Dour, recorded 25 years ago.
Man Youssou N'Dour, Mangi wo bépp doomu Afrika ñu bokk xalaat bokk gis-gis bokk yéene sans frontière boole sunu am te liggéey waratuñu nangu kenn ñëw di ñu féewale bul jiite réew foog ne la fa nekk yow yaa ko moom njiit bu dëgër dana war a fekk nga bëgg sa réew te sàkku ndimbal na ca fekk loxol boroom. We Africa bu jant bi fenkee waaw na la fekk joo ak sa jumtukaay bëccëg bi gaaw na ñett du bëre te ñaara mën kenn waaw yoon wi sore na te metti na nañu ko waaja bodul na bi xalaat lañu defoon naam ya sa xol dootul neex te dootoo xalaat lu dul fento su ma sañoon Afrika benn nit moo koy jiite ñu boole sunuy xalaat ak sunuy doole jokkoo nañu bi frontière yi taxal yoon yi ba ñëpp a gisee cencoo tinkiñ walk together, keep on walking. Cheikh Anta Diop, Kwame Nkrumah, Stephen Biko, all you people, Africa.
I said,
Notable Pan-African woman. Notable woman Pan-Africanist. Diaspora woman Pan-Africanist, a Black woman from the Americas, the Caribbean, and Europe who have actively championed the political, economic, and cultural liberation of Africa and its global diaspora. Notable figures include Amy Ashworth Garvey, Jamaica, a pioneering Jamaican activist who co-founded the African Association. Alongside her then husband, Marcus Garvey, she was instrumental in establishing the UNIA and organized key international Pan-African conferences in the early 20th century. What a woman. Claudia Jones, Trinidad, often referred to as the mother of the Caribbean Carnival in London, she was a fierce anti-imperialist, communist, and feminist who fought for the rights of the African diaspora globally. Maya Angelou, USA. During her time living in Ghana in the 1960s, she actively supported Pan-Africanism, working as a journalist and deeply committing her life to the cultural linkage between African Americans and the African continent. Elma Francois, Trinidad, a working class organizer and radical trade unionist who protested against imperialist exploitation in the Caribbean and Africa. Dr. Arikana Chihembori Kwap, Zimbabwe, USA. A prominent modern advocate and former African Union permanent observer to the US, she founded the African Diaspora Development Institute, ADDI. Dr. Joy Bulawami, UK, USA. A Ghanaian American computer scientist, founder of the Algorithmic Justice League, and contemporary advocate for equitable, globally conscious technology and civil rights. Opal Tometi, USA. A human rights advocate and co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement. She centers her global activism on race, immigration, and human rights across the diaspora. Key figures in the Pan-African diaspora: Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Nigerian American economist and the Director General of the World Trade Organization, or WTO, known for her global leadership in economic development. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Nigerian author and public speaker whose works explore the intersections of feminism, culture, and the African diaspora. Dr. Joy Bulawini, Ghanaian American computer scientist and digital activist who leads groundbreaking research on algorithmic bias and artificial intelligence. A Black woman, people. Claudia Jones, Trinidad-born journalist and activist who was a pivotal figure in the British Black Panther movement, championing Pan-Africanism and women's rights. Fatoumata Bah, Senegalese venture capitalist and founder of Django Capital, which empowers female entrepreneurs across the African continent and its diaspora. Semha Arya, Eritrean American human rights lawyer and founder of the Diaspora African Women's Network, or DAWN, DAWN, recognized for empowering women of African descent globally. Epilogue by Honorable Priest Rasavana. Blessed love.
Blessed love, family. Give thanks for all things said and done so far. African history is world history. The world wouldn't be what it is today, good, bad, or indifferent, if Africans didn't grace it with our presence. To leave out the divine African queen's contribution would be to eliminate the most magnificent portion on this journey of life. It is the duty of I and I as elders to make sure the truth is there for all to know. It is our duty to mentor the advancing generation so they can sidestep the pitfalls of our journey. The mistakes we made are roadmaps to the treasure of victory. In our attempt to bring the information, I and I will not sex it up or embellish or pretend to make the picture more beautiful. The truth is what is needed to unfold the mysteries and find solutions to our problems. Our heroes and heroines are human, imperfect. They are worthy of recognition and due praises. Ubuntu, I am because we are. We are because they have been. It is a relay, cultural continuity. Without the first leg, there would be no need for a receiver and an anchor. The team wins or loses together. Forever lives the memory of those African queens who saw the vision and did the work. So I and I can establish cultural continuity by adding our strength to the struggle for equality and justice. A luta continua. Our struggle continues.
My Lord. Yes, I'm blessed. Yes, I am. We give thanks, and as we see.
In 1899, a French military column marched into West Africa armed with modern artillery, a mandate to conquer, and absolute confidence that no one could stop them. They were wrong. Her name was Saraunia Mangu, Queen of the Asna, sorceress, warrior. To her people, she commanded spirits. To her enemies, she was a nightmare. And in April 1899, she faced an army that had already devastated half a continent. The Voulay-Chanoine mission wasn't just a colonial force. It was a rogue unit operating outside orders. Colonel Paul Voulay and Lieutenant Julien Chanoine looted, burned, and attacked their way across the Sahel. Their own African soldiers deserted in disgust, writing home about the cruelty. They were told to bypass Lugo. Voulay refused. He had heard of the sorceress queen, and he wanted her captured. Saraunia didn't wait to be attacked. She evacuated every village, contaminated the water sources, stripped the land bare. When the French reached Lugu, they marched into a ghost town, starving, isolated, and surrounded by nothing but silence. Then the real war began. Night after night, phantom strikes from the darkness, soldiers tormented by unseen enemies, African conscripts having nightmares, deserting in terror. The French weren't fighting an army, they were fighting fear itself. Lugu wasn't just a town, it was a fortress designed to neutralize European warfare. Dense thickets eliminated rifle range. Artillery couldn't find targets. When the French finally charged with bayonets, they charged into chaos. And there she was, on the front lines, her presence burning, her warriors fighting like men possessed. The French broke, not against walls, against will. Low on ammunition, broken by climate, shattered by fear. The French abandoned the siege, but the collapse went deeper. Voulay eliminated a governor who tried to stop him, declared himself a local chief. Within 3 months, his own soldiers turned on him. The mission that came to capture a sorceress destroyed itself. Saraunia Mangu, Niger's only officially recognized female national heroine. Her story, once buried by colonial history, now shines across the Sahel. In film, in literature, in the hearts of a people who refuse to forget. She was never captured. She never surrendered. And she proved what empires still fear. The wilderness remembers. And those who know their land can never truly be conquered. If you want more history they don't teach in school, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the untold stories of history.
Or just tune into the EABIC Council of Elders platform and you will get the information. Royal cheer.
My Lord. Yes, my Lord, we have a glorious past, and they couldn't afford to make we, as children, grow up with these kind of knowledge, for lack of a better word, yeah. This kind of knowledge. They give we thing like Dan is the man in the van. We cannot pick that jig for fig. Now these blood fire. Yeah?
And Baba Black Sheep.
Baba Black Sheep. Yeah, take we creative mind and put a whole heap of judgment, nursery rhyme and thing, but you see it? You know? Yeah, me say, it's just a matter of time. So we give thanks that this information is coming out. So we can see it is so imperative that we all form a black solidarity across the board instead of we just fighting on one another and weakening the king, you know? So I give thanks for the Council of Elders that is steadily forging that way forward to show the world that unity is the greatest weapon. You know, we mustn't be so disappointed with each other that we can't even come together to pray, to say Jah Rastafari. So we have a serious uphill battle, but we are confident in R over X and right over wrong. My Lord and Empress, floor is open, my Lord.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, great point, my lord, that you just highlighted on the fact of unity. I won't hold you up, Empress Trisha, but I'll just say this. One thing is evident throughout the whole of our I studies. Our ancestors had the answer. Our ancestors practiced what they preached. Our ancestors forged unity where they said that unity was impossible. I think now that is where the Council of Elders come in. We are trying to show that same picture to I and I in this present moment. You know, the emperor in his speech said, there is no insurmountable obstacles towards achieving unity, because he has seen men of desperate origin forge unity. Why? Because when those desperate ones look at the reality of the moment, they see that it is better for them to unite within that moment with all the differences that they may have. And when you really view them among two individuals, you will find differences. But if you look at the similarities that they share, you'll find much more in common. Royal Empress, blessed.
Yes, blessed. No, I just wanted to say, when I was actually when we were actually putting this PowerPoint together, it just dropped on me like a bomb, like, boom, that we were so not taught in this system. They hid so much information from I, and give us exactly what they wanted to give us. And that's why the world is in so much confusion. And that's why our people are so, hard to come together to unify.
Divided.
Yeah, we're so divided because, we are being fed nothing at all that has value for us, that can move us forward as a people, that shows us the courage that was then so that we can get the courage to move forward. So when you see our young men and our young women out there doing the things that they're doing and wondering why are they doing that, this is the reason why. We were never supposed to know this information. And they always say they hide everything in a book because they know that, they've done beat reading out of us. So they hide everything in a book. They put it in a video, but they know that we're not going to watch certain videos. So yeah, give thanks. Give thanks, Council of Elders.
And the reality of it, Empress Trisha, is that they are putting those things in a video now.
No.
When we are in the age of Aquarius, the age of information, we are in an era that they have no choice. They cannot no longer hide it. The light is shining in places that they can't stop it right now. They would have rather, they would have rather that we not get this information. And
yes,
and not only get it, but sitting like how we are sitting in now to discuss it, to break it
Yes.
down with each other, for each other to share our understanding of what we have achieved from taking in the information. They didn't want this kind of mindset. It's called critical thinking. I and I Africans were supposed to lose that process during the transatlantic journey and never regain it. Why I say this? I have proof. Listen to the name. Caribbean. The Caribbean. The Caribbean Ocean. The people of the Caribbean. Caribbean what? Caribbean are remembrance of our past, of our
My
history,
Lord.
of high reality. But we are to embrace, like the item said, a diggle diggle, the cat and the fiddle and the cow jump over the moon.
Yeah.
And not know
Yeah.
of Amy Ashwood Garvey. We give thanks for Mama Amy Jakes Garvey, But Amy Ashford Garvey was a
Yeah.
real revolutionary, a real pioneer, not with no
First
disrespect.
block. Yes, I.
Take it nothing
Yes.
from Amy Jakes Garvey and the work that she has done, monumental. But this is an unsung hero. Nobody told I and I about Amy Ashwood. I can give you my story, but my story is not even relevant. See, getting to know the family and know her and know of her from an early age. But the wider Pan African family, we don't celebrate her life. Yeah, have you ever
Natural.
seen celebrating anything to do with Amy Ashford? And she broke a lot of barriers. She was the first in a lot of spaces. Now, her her partner, her sister, Una Marson, is another. Listen to the history we just hear of Una Marson. He went to the League of Nations with Haile Selassie the first, a little woman from Jamaica, back then in 1936,
Selassie, I.
stood in the gallery, meaning she saw the whole hoopla, when the Italian journalists them go on with all them
Yeah.
isms and Mac
Yeah.
and Jim. She was there to see the European journalist that killed himself on the spot there, took his own life, seeing, to send a
Yeah, I
message.
say. And the first time we hear that one, they give it that story. They don't go past it. Give
Someone,
it that one day.
a journalist, a European journalist. I want to say Italian too, but I won't because I'm not sure in my memory at the moment. But
Yeah.
he's a European. He killed himself there on the floor, took his own life, seen, because of the injustice that he saw happening. He was beholding it.
Whoa.
He was right there, and he knew he was someone that was privy to the closed door behind the curtains discussions. And he knew that they had already sentenced Ethiopia to death, that they had already
Stop.
decided to give up Ethiopia as an appeasement to Mussolini.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
mocking and cheering and all of that, nobody was putting a stop on it. It was allowed, just like how we see it happening in a World Cup the other day, allowed
Yeah.
to mock and jeer the black world. See, and Una Morrison stood there and saw that. So when she came back to Jamaica now, at the end of all her world travels, she became a voice for the early Rastafari movement. She, you
Okay.
heard him say she was a middle class. She was a middle class. I won't use the word celebrity, but a middle class matriarch, patriarch, historically known. She was known. In her time, she was known in Jamaica, and she, from those early days when our mothers and fathers was kicking us out of the house and we say Rastafari, she was a voice coming out of all of that glory, all of that achievement, all of that experience that she was able to amass through her travels. She came to Jamaica and she saw value in Rastafari that she
Selassie, I.
inter voice to our way of defending it. Remember, she was coming out from among people that set the platform of advocacy, towards I and I justice, But when she came and she heard Rastafari and saw our stance, saw the resistance movement, she came and saw the resistance movement, not the religious movement or the
Natural.
entertainment, the entertainment movement, the reggae movement. She saw the resistance movement and she respected and admired it so much that she became an advocate for I and I. I am I'm amplifying that for ones and ones to really stop and think of this from that early time when Rastafari was a no. Rastafari was the worst, the scum of the earth according to society. We had not gained any traction of acceptance as yet. So we were still in that raw stage of resistance. And she, with all her life experience, with all the people that she met, Jomo Kenyatta, all of those great heroes and Nkrumah and all of them, she saw value in the
In
Rastafari.
Rastafari. Yes,
My
I.
Lord.
My Lord. Empress
Mama
Lily,
Lily.
may I see you up your hand?
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress Royal Family. Very, very interesting conversation, reasoning, education topic this evening from the Elders Council. Question, Prisha Savannah. Where is modern day Niger? Blessed.
Unmute your mic, Preacher Savannah.
And Patricia, if you know, tell me.
Yeah. Repeat, comment, Mama Lily.
Where is modern day Niger, where the queen come from, who defeated the French?
She came from Niger, not what them call Niger, part of the Sahel. She's from the Sahel region of Africa.
Okay. That's Mali Basanafa Anamum.
Yeah, right, exactly. She's part of that family there, and you
Yes.
can see the resistance. You can see the nature of resistance because you see what they are doing right now. They are the first to physically not just gain independence, but throw out the colonial power. They have achieved what Idi Amin started and did not succeed in doing. Remove them totally out of them territory. So you can see the spirit that she carried. Cultural continuity, as Priest Andy always say. We see the cultural continuity in Captain Ibrahim Traore and the president of Mali and Niger. That's it.
My Lord, Honorable Priest Rastafari, I think you need to give a clearance to the Honorable Priest Earl for the statement you make in the beginning to say, well, after we hear this thing, we are going to feel shame of ourselves. So I understand from what, I like to give the priest a clearance in yourself so that, you understand fully what I mean. Not that we shame,
Oh,
but,
no. Yeah, understand the framework of reasoning. What I mean is that when we look at what these royal and I'm not even going to try to pretty it up or make package it in any way. I'm just gonna be straightforward with it. The works of these empresses put today's Rastafari to shame. Because what are we today? What do we do? What have we done as trailblazers? We cannot continue to live off of our predecessors' coattails. Our father, King Emmanuel, Emperor Haile Selassie I, and Mama Omega, Queen Menem, and the Honorable Black Tiger, Marcus Messiah. We have them as references to show us what great leaders are, what gods of the earth are, what goddesses of the earth are. But we are them. We are supposed to have that cultural continuity, by continuing on those great works. The things that we today see as great are trivial compared to what these sisters achieved. And they achieved it in a time that was much more threatening, much more dangerous, with less tools. They didn't have all the books that we have to read and empower ourselves with knowledge. They learned from their life experiences and from coming together, that togetherness, you understand, which is like what we are doing here. We are now reattaching our neighbor string to that cultural continuity. But what I meant is what I said, plain and straight. Their achievements, the way they went about it, what they did, how they did it, all of that. See, yeah, put I and I to shame. Because we keep on saying Babylon, Babylon, Babylon. Babylon, make we can't do this. Babylon make we can't do that. Babylon is always on us, which we know that. If I and I don't know that we're not in the right, you're not in the right movement, and you don't understand the movement. That's why the movement exists, because we know Babylon exists. But these women, regardless of Babylon, at a time when Babylon was much more um, individually brutal. I won't say differently brutal, because what we see going on in Gaza and other places, in Sudan and things, is equally wicked to what went on back then. But there were no laws to draw on. There was no precedence for us to reference in regards to our defense. Today we have laws and references. See, we can draw upon the different human rights um, councils that exist and what they have put in as legal framework. We can draw on past lawsuits and things like that to establish our position today. Back then they had none. They were creating those that we can draw on now. And they did it fearlessly. A lot of them lost their lives in the process. Lots of them didn't enjoy that nice family life that they could have, especially with a lot of them who were very brilliant, who could have gone out there and achieved enough money and things like that. They stayed the course of struggle with their brilliance and was isolated by even a lot of their own who feared how they were approaching things. Like how W.E.B. Du Bois um, feared Garvey, how Garvey's raw approach to Pan-Africanism. And others like him during that period, until they came to understand what Garvey was saying and what he was attempting to do. See? And so I know I'm being long-winded, but I want it to be very clear that one don't misunderstand. It's no disrespect meant, it's a reality account, because we tend to paint this glorious picture of our tenure, and our tenure has not achieved nothing compared to the milestone of these royal sisters. Blessed Lord.
Royal Chair. My Lord. Honorable Priest, yes, I.
Yes, but it's still, all the priests are explaining the Quran, are explaining the Quran. It's still at the foundation of the Rastaman movement, what he went through. So, we have here to say it's a family, because as I said, movement I and I today, but that the Rastaman movement, at the said thing, I'm on here, the priest was explaining, and maybe I speak about the continent at the moment. But the beginning of the Rastaman movement, as the priest say, the outcast, you know what I mean? Yes, the scum of, society, you know what I mean? Yes. So, I just said movement, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't say we don't achieve nothing, you know what I mean? Because, we maybe not saying Babylon today, but sometimes if you not say that, you see, I look upon them and with the said old chant, with the Rastaman chant. You see what I say? Yes. You know, we can even change the chant, you know what I mean? Yeah, because some of the time when we feel like say them free us, just check out them, check the melanated people, you know, and see the war. And you know, so these people that we're talking about are very violent, you know what I mean? So even when I father wouldn't go that violent way. But if you know, deal with it as how you have to deal with it. That's why Marcus Garvey did speak certain word because he feel like the emperor should have to deal with it on a more preparing way with all a big gun and them sitting there according to the travel. When travel. You see it. So if you not deal with them like how them are deal with us, you know, we gather and you know who the chain the gun come out with them gun, you know, because the black man well trained already and him supposed to come stand up as the black army. So if we not deal with it that way, it come like we are dealing with it over the years, not achieve nothing, you know. You see it? Yes. And how we are dealing with it over the years. Our King King Emmanuel show if we deal with it because we not make gun and until we start deal with it with gun, then can drop one bomb. You see, and get rid of everyone. So our father not really teach you that way, but when you look on the reality of the thing, is a violent people. You know, we stand up amongst these people are well violent. Them history all about the place, from America to Jamaica and everywhere that they enslave people are. Used to say these people are very violent, you know. Yes, when it come out to Union Marshal there, you know, I don't remember which one of the great speech when of Rastaman never takes a sheep pen, you know, but I think just his pen one of those great speech, you know, for His Majesty. You know. But man did I feel like said no, you know, annex God or goddess, you know, couldn't work with the king, prove a pen nothing. You see what I mean? I say, yes, because I look, you know, man, I have a little contradiction when you hear something new. Cause I never know say one could have pen, you know, something, one of those mighty speech for His Majesty. So if they are them, remember they are them, yeah, could have speak, you know what I mean? But as I say, I just want to struggle me hear the priest declare, because so the Rasta man thing did start out. And him never start out directly to achieve nothing more than freedom, redemption, international repatriation. Because the culture was, you know, we not give away a continent for the silence. So it's not even a good building some of the time, even the elder them did build because them now want to get complacent in their mind. You know what I mean? Enough of them never sleep on a good divan bed yet because it's Africa, you know, the matter about, you know. Yeah, man, one perfect love royal family. Just keeping it black and beautiful, said it.
My Lord.
Yeah, quickly, sorry, Chair. I have to jump in quickly here before I forget and before the moment get cold. Two aspects of what pre-service said. To answer your last question there, you kind of, if you look at the history, it kind of speak to which speech she had an input in. She had an input in that 1936 speech, my lord, until the philosophy that all one is superior and another inferior. See, and that's why she went with the emperor. She attended that same League of Nations meeting, and she was in the gallery observing the presentation of the emperor. She was an advisor and a companion of the emperor. Let's just use that word during her moments in Ethiopia. That is one. The other one now is to give clarity to something you said. Marcus Garvey's statement, according to how everyone looks at it, against the emperor, was not about the approach in military strategy. It was a sentiment of how Garvey saw leadership. And, you know, I guess we need to go back. We need to get a copy of that publication, newspaper publication, and read the whole thing on one of these programs so everyone can hear. Because I see it reoccur on the social media as a conflict among ones, you know, misunderstanding what went down between the emperor and his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Garvey said that a captain to go down with him ship. He expressed in it that if the emperor had stayed course, global Pan-African world would have came to his side to fight with him. That was Garvey's sentiment. And if we remember now, you know, all around the world where Garvey had his organizations, in one country there was 52 branches. It extended as far as into Asia. And all around the world, members of UNIA were signing up to go and fight for the Ethiopian emperor. And it was America when they saw the amount of people coming out and all of the registration offices that were set up for ones to sign up. When they saw how much existed across the US and how the numbers that were gathering there to sign up, they made a law to prohibit that. See, so Garvey was right in one aspect, you know. How we framed it, yes, we all take offense to the cowardly lion reference that was in it. But his assessment of a leader and the situation, we can't say was wrong. People globally was willing to go and fight for the freedom of Africa. And it would have been Garvey, by the passion that Garvey held, he was seeing it as a one and only chance, where to how people were gaslighted by what was happening. You know, in Harlem, people were gaslighted. Wherever we were up in arms when we saw what was happening to Ethiopia by the Italians. And we were willing at that time to go and lay down our lives for it. So that was really the reference that Garvey was referencing. It wasn't the military strategy, because remember now the UNIA supported the Ethiopian resistance efforts with funds as well as with clothes, uniform, things like boots, shoes, things like that. You know, they supported even when Garvey was in England. He still advised the UNIA to continue supporting the war efforts, the resistance efforts, until he passed a year before the emperor won his victory. My lord.
My lord, and don't one of the sentiments in the Honorable Prophet was that he felt shunned by the emperor.
Well, that was a different incident. You remember now when the emperor was in Bath, when he came and was in Bath, Garvey, the emperor had communicated with UNIA in 1924, 25. He sent his first communication to establish link. And this is how the conversation really needs to be had, because a lot of people don't know this. See, I think it was, what's his name? One of the Garvey experts that has passed. His name is slipping right now. I won't hold up the conversation with that. Anyway, one of the writers of Garvey's that have been bringing Garvey's history to I&I through books, published that letter where the emperor expressed support, admiration, and all that good stuff for the work that the Marcus Garvey and UNIA was doing on behalf of Africa and African people.
Tony Martin.
Now, Tony Martin, thank you, my love. Give thanks. Tony Martin. Now, coming down now to the time when Garvey, when His Majesty was in exile, Garvey was in England, in London at that time, and petitioned to get an audience with the emperor more than once, but there were ones blocking that from happening, you know, outside and internal forces. Outside forces controlling inside forces and blocking that meeting from happening, because that would have been another Abraham Melchizedek type meeting, where the the two main heads of the moment within the Pan African world would have had a chance to sit down and to discuss strategy. But they couldn't allow that to happen, so it never happened. Same thing they tried with in the US with Malcolm X and Martin Luther, keeping them apart, pushing things between them that they would see as differences that would keep them separate. See, they do not want the unity of the mobilizers and organizers. Them no mind if the simple ones, the non-learned ones, the non-inspired ones, the unconscious ones meet, because they know nothing will come out of that. But they do not want the thinking minds to come together, because the thinking minds coming together is going to find solutions. See, so that was a deliberate act. And Garvey, yes, honorable priest, to answer with this long-winded answer, yes, he did take offense to it, because remember now, let's be realistic, and that's we need to discuss and look at things realistically when we are assessing history. Put yourself in that position. You don't know what is going on the inside, or where the influence is coming from outside, because at the moment, when you're in the moment, that you're not privy to that information, so you don't know that the emperor did not get those petitions, and even if he got them, the answers he sent out didn't reach you. So he did not know all the dynamics of what was going on, so he felt away and felt like he was being shunned. And that's I would consider that, and I'm not making an excuse for Garvey, but I am putting myself in that position. I am trying to reach out to Priest Ainsley as the chair of the council, and every time I send my request to the approved channels, I get back no answer, or I get back some negative answer. I will take it personal after 1, 2, 3, 4 tries to say, well, okay, this man definitely don't want me to die for whatever reason. See, or this group doesn't want me to die for whatever reasons. And then that makes it personal. Bless the Lord. Majesty.
I know you're in the Vice Royal chair. I just want to say one thing about the embargo where that face the emperor, so him couldn't get no gun at that time for buy. Yet Italy did have all the guns already, so the embargo never really affect them. You know what I mean? And I did still make another statement and say that reason why you was reason about the Empress, how she stand up. That was the said type of thing I and our forefathers, the King Emmanuel, the Hines, the said Virgin from Pinnacle, and all the man, because all of these individuals did, recognized as the Black Christ, You know what I mean? Because anyway, the black man there do the work, I just see Christ work, especially the work of right, you know what I mean? Yeah, so not to make myself too long, saying about it, elaborate upon the said thing, where you were speaking about the said movement that go on with the elders in Jamaica. Right?
All right. I'll quickly touch it because I want to let go the floor to everyone else. I know others must want to come in and reason and give their sound or ask their questions. And if anyone can check the streaming to see if there are any questions coming from the streaming as well. Um, I didn't respond to that because that was kind of established in the whole narrative. You know, when we were speaking about Una Morrison returning to Jamaica and seeing the value of the Rastafari movement to become a voice for it, an advocate on its behalf, on our behalf. Now, that goes without, I don't think there is no statement to make towards what you just said. The founding fathers of Rastafari, they were resistors. They came as a resistance to what was happening within that moment. What I am referring to is that the movement after those founding fathers have not continued on that culture. There is no cultural continuity to that level of advocacy. We became different characters after the founding fathers. We became more religionists and more entertainers and more ganja advocates, and you know, with that we started to dabble more in the social rights and the civil rights more than that level of human rights that the founding fathers adhered to. And that goes without saying. If you look at the groups of Rastafari, within the groupings, we don't find a need to come together. When you talk about what is called an umbrella group, a platform where all branches, all mansions or houses, whatever name you want to apply to them, can come to that platform and discuss what affects them as a community, as a movement. There has been a taboo on that. We have built barriers to say, well, yeah, me nah deal with no bingy. Me nah deal with no 12 tribe, me nah deal with no this, me nah deal with no that. And each of I and I stand up and say, our group is the group, is the monumental group, is the first group, is the highest group, is the greatest group, whatever. See, we have taken a different path. That cultural continuity has been severed. Whether ones want to accept it or not, whether it's just my opinion or, you know, but I think the facts stand there as approval of that reality. See, just yesterday, one was asking me, I went to a ISIS yesterday, and at the ISIS, one of my elder brethren I knew him from when he was in Florida. He now lives here in Jamaica and goes between Jamaica and Africa. Ayati. Ayati was asking me, what is the problem that Rastafari sees with the EWF? It was a discussion that we were having, you know, looking at the EWF, the origins of it, what it was originally set to do, how it has ended up, you know, and in the bid to try and re-energize it, what is going on now. So he was asking the question as a general question, what I see as a problem with the EWF, why the Rastafari groups haven't aligned themselves with them. And the only thing that we both could at the end of our analysis come up with is that it's that same divide and rule stigma. Because if we can come together as the fingers of Rastafari and the arm, how do we expect the arm to reach out now in solidarity to the next hand over there and unite with it, when the fingers on this arm can unite? I'm using that to say, if Rastafari can't find the unity to speak as one entity, how can we look to reaching to being a part of the EWF in any meaningful way. Because what the EWF would become is just what we are fighting against, an umbrella. See, so you see where the problem is within our present and future development. We have to stop making enemies of our family. What we are doing, we are perpetuating the same tribalism and xenophobia that is taking place and harming the continent's development presently. Instead of seeing EWF and 12 Tribe and School of Vision and House of Dread and all of them as just family. 7 brothers, 7 different minds, but we still come from the one father and mother line. See? And them say blood thicker than water. So we're supposed to gummy them. We're supposed to find a way to be gummy, even if it is when it is necessary. If we don't want to do it on a socially everyday level, but at least when it is necessary, we should be able to put aside the petty differences and find that unis family.
My Lord, Honorable Priest Brown, I see your hand is up.
Royal love, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks to the
My
Royal
Lord.
Family. Going through, give thanks for His Honor Divine Majesty. And give thanks to the mighty prophet. And give thanks to all those mighty Empress that stood beside the prophet. Give thanks to King and I priest Emmanuel. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I, Jah,
Yeah.
Rasta.
Rastafari.
So short and spicy. All right. I man first we begin with something that I picked up. The praise, I write this statement. Praises, I wouldn't even direct it, but I say praises together bring unity. I came to this conclusion once while watching an epic Chinese movie where they were under invasion and certain generals came together and each of them had their own strategy. And when they couldn't come to no conclusion, they resorted to music, singing, and chanting together. And it brought forth the answer, it brought forth the solution. So maybe my personal imagination that, but I know, say, I am confident that praise one's praising and sharing harmony unto the Most High, unto nature in oneness brings forth a unison, my Lord and Empress.
My Lord. Give thanks, Honorable Priest Brown.
My Lord.
Actually see an example of that today. Because our brethren reached out and called me, and he was inspired by the celebration sabbatical service for Rise Up in New Jersey. And he felt so inspired that he had to reach out to me to call me to know, so well, all of we start them thing ago. So what you say is a valid point, man. Yeah. Floor is open to Honorable Priest.
Secondly, my Lord, I'd like to honor all the daughters of Zion that have stood so powerful. And it gave me a great understanding because right now, me tell you plain, I'm always I look for them quality there in a woman before getting close or in an intimacy. And them qualities I'm always I look for. I always say, wait. Come like when them in a Jamaica, Wagwan, them people are not born again. I miss her. But then when we realize what take place, because the history of these virtuous queens were not published in the educational systems or even around the community talking, and then them introduced this farm work and this house helper thing and broke out with people them. That has been the chief barrier why enough of our women take on this negative and not gravitate towards them real African self because they have not been taught the history of these virtuous African queens, my lord and empress.
My
Thirdly, to
lord.
close off, to close off, consistency. When you talk about consistency, look at us now as a Congress. Dada, I begin from the scholar boy. Stuff man don't know what that means in a palace, but looking wood and water, keeping the palace clean. Till we find ourselves at the penman duty for Dada. And now, once and once, who is bold enough himself to take it for a pen and write the authorities, not being afraid of being persecuted or afraid of any rebuttal. So we have lost that consistency, my lord, and we need to regain it. Out of love, my lord and empress. Give thanks.
And I have a priest Brown. Give thanks, my lord. Rastafari. Priest Adigan.
Yeah, quickly before Priest Adigan come in, Priest Brown, this is the way you just refer to in your second question. This is a deliberacy, you know, and you see by dumbing down the woman them and creating enmity between the male and female, because the average in the societies today, the average description of the female about the male is them a dog, you know, and man come accept it that them start to call them one another. Yes, dog.
Yeah.
See, the descent from gods to dogs. See, now what it did was to take the empress away from I and I. You still, I'm not saying man don't deal with the woman and deal with woman all around, but the empress, they took the empress away from I and I because them know it is one of the ways of keeping the black nation as a race. Because you cannot be a nation without the queens at the center. And by them removing them, and I continue on in that same attitude, degrading and undermining and underestimating the empresses, it keeps the nation divided into being a race. So they knew exactly what they were doing. And it is one of our key problems right now. America has the most single family black homes anywhere about. You know, Jamaica, I don't see even not much different in Jamaica either. A whole heap of sister I have is sister in growing them youths by themselves. See, our bridge into growing them youth by themselves. So we have become a race of single family homes that cannot make up. It's not the recipe for nationhood. Okay, it's a recipe for what it is right now, a race. What is a race? It's a competing set of people. A race is a competition. So as long as they keep us being a race, we will continue competing against each other, even when it's against our interests. Blessed love.
My lord.
My lord and empress. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, my
Yes,
lord.
Give thanks to life once again, you know. Celebration to the royal Ethiopian family near and far. Over land and sea, you know. 134th anniversary of Divine Majesty born Listafari Makinana. Inijasu Guru Kadamawe and Prili Selassie Ja
Rastafari.
The Emperor make a sound, you know. So if we put down petty differences and the other one is put away semantics and deal with what we have in common. No, I can't put a number on the years the Rastafari
movement in a nucleus, not in groups and denominations as existed, but it's been a time now from when the word go from Marcus Garvey to Gangaroo Marad, which is Leonard Percival Howell, to Hubert to Heinz to Dunkley, back to the Bedwardites, to the present. And the thing what, as this is relating to the woman them and the role what they have played, but one speak of the founding fathers and one speak of the disunity, and we speak of the other houses and this concept for years now. From my youth, I hear this concept about different mansions. And I ask myself, how are we different from the so-called Christian world? Who has denominations? Because the fact that one is talking about school of vision and peacemakers and the Nyabingi house and the Baba Ashanti and 12 tribe, the fact that's the Rasta have created denominations. Remember, you know, our father King Emmanuel said over 30 or 31 leaders did meet His Majesty in 1966. That means those 31 leaders represented what we call groups, a structure in the movement of Rastafari. And have we really evolved? Have we really enhanced the betterness? Because the same thing, if you go, South Africa is one of the mirror the West. I have a brother here in England named Johnny who go there, and him say, when him go to South Africa, it remind him of Rastafari when him growing up in the 70s. And when you look on South Africa, the dynamics of just South Africa, all the groups of Rasta what you can think of is there. And them have the most dreadlocks, if you want, say, per square mile in throughout the globe. Not necessarily Rasta, you know, but the most dreadlocks. You understand what I say? So it come back away if we said in a 2026, the same dissension, Rasta can't unite because of petty prejudice. Because the petty prejudice is, oh, Bubba all them prejudice now because them things say everything Rastafari centered around the priesthood and how we do things, them intolerant, don't want to hear nothing outside what King Emmanuel say. Then when you have an elder council like this come together now where we say, no, we not go sticking on a one box, you know. We have created this so we're open to the international and the global public out there that we live stream all the thing and make people hear and we put out the information now and make them see Baba Shanti in a different like that. We don't become the weakest link in the pack, but we come together and strengthen everything. Cause this thing when a man say, oh, me know you nothing with the Bingy man, me know you nothing with and Bingy man, me know you in the Boba, me know you nothing with the 12s. And when you check it, all of the groups, them, if you take off all the labels, the whole will come back to a black nation as one people. If you take off all the labels and through semantics and house doctrines. And it's not today. When I want to say, yeah, whether man, woman, or children, the former leaders did a better job, and I've said it before, it's not new. And I think many of us have said it before, I might put it in different wording, but it's the same thing, but then it come back away that in at this time, we still dispute which house or which mansion, right, and we still demonize we woman them, we empresses, we daughters, you understand? Because, all right, example, you have a brethren in a Nyabingi house named Profile. Him said the woman them should be allowed to play the drum since the taiko Nyabingi is coming from a woman. And in recent times or through the years, I have seen lines of women in the Nyabingi house chanting the actual drum, the full set, ketefunde and bass. You understand? And we know that would have never happened in the EABIC settings, but it happens in the Nyabingi settings of the Nyabingi house. Are we to demonize them and tell them, say, oh, that's not comely of a woman, and you know? Because man know, say, EABIC manship. We are going to put a fire upon that. Not me not going to say, me personally, I'm going to say anything, but me know how how the religious fanatics are going to look at it. So am I to cast off my Nyabingi sisters now because they're being allowed to play the drum in the surroundings in the tabernacle? You understand me I say? So we have to realize say that there are many of us and we can't say the only thing represent Rastafari is I and I the Baba Shanti and the rest is something else. No, they are brothers and sisters for true and from my His Majesty we have that in common. Rally around that common cause Emperor Haile Selassie, then we sit down and we can reason with differences because that's the problem. None of us have never held no summits with our individual ones and say, let we understand where Boba Shanti really has say. Let we understand where Nyabingi really has say. No, we separate, we militate as the wording go into our groups and we don't come to no solution and we can't come to no consensus. This is, remember, more 100 years we are keep up with this, you know. Because you have to check from the year from
I know hundreds. I know hundreds. It's
yeah,
long,
but
but
when
I
me I
know
say
hundreds.
when me I say 150, all right, if we check the age of our elders that have gone and if we accumulate them, right? When Bonga Rocky go, him was about 80, them said that was about the same. We may try if we say, if we accumulate the years through the centuries of Rastafari. Because remember, some of we born into that, you know. Remember, 1892 was 100, 1992 was 100 years since His Majesty was born. So that
But
may
it
I
was
try
only,
to say.
but it's only since
Rasta,
1950.
I'm from
That's it.
1930. No, may I say
Right.
from the 1930s come up. All right, I would have said the dissension, which I think don't give a clarity. After 58, I feel so that's when the whole heap of groupism grow up on a bigger. But Rasta mustn't fool themselves that them not have denominations in the movement like the Christian them now. And that me see go on and it a go on. And through the same thing like in Christian, them have them petty host differences is disseminate amongst the Rastafari brethren and that as long as everyone in a them corner all them petty differences, no unity now go come. So that we have to look, we have to see how we are going to get over with petty differences and deal with what we have in common, my Lord and Empress. Bless her.
It's bigger than that, Priest Adigan. Because I wouldn't call no name. But a Bobo invited a next Bobo to come to celebration sabbatical and this celebration sabbatical. And the Bobo refused and said that, oh, man, they're on the King mission. So we couldn't even pray together. So it's even bigger than the outward family. Right within us, we have man and man. We can't even pray together, my Lord. What does that say?
To the chair.
Yes, Empress.
First, I'd like to address a correction that needs to, we're not above correction. I am looking at the live stream and we did make a mistake in the speech of His Majesty for 1936. It was not until the philosophy give thanks to at Ayman Peters 1205 for catching the error, and at the Home Office, for helping to clarify also that that speech was 1963.
63.
Right. In New York at the United Nations. So that I'd like to, give thanks to the ones who are listening keenly online,
Rastafari.
We all make mistakes and these things do happen.
And you see, it shows you how together, how strong we are.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It radiates outside just we who on the phone here, even out to the world at large, that they could have see it and say, no, trees, you kind of, and also, and we give thanks, Rastafari.
Also, I'd like to state that, when we do bring these programs to the family and to the wider family as a whole. We bring not only for clarity, for understanding, for knowledge, because there's a lot of information that we do put out that a lot of ones are not purview to. Sometimes even I who is putting the PowerPoints together is like, what? Even when I saw all of the
I never know that.
right,
Yeah.
you don't know
Yeah.
the names, you know things,
Yeah.
but you don't know everything. And like we said, that's because
Natural.
lack of knowledge on how we were taught. So we do give thanks, for all of the information that we are sharing with the family. But ones need to understand, and one of the online participant guests also stated that the priesthood of the EABIC has centered their knowledge on the Bible and hymn book. Therefore, all this information was missing out. And sometimes we fail to put truth where truth should be. And can we really say that that person is wrong? We can't say that because, even listening to some of the conversations, we keep going back to the spiritual or the side of the liberty and not to, what would I say, the knowledge, the advocacy, the part of the liberty. It is always that we go to the clapping and singing. The one who may have said they don't want to come to a service on that Sabbath, maybe, keeping our words impeccable and not getting in dealing off a personality. We don't know why they may have said that or why others may have said that. Maybe they want more. They want information. They want to know, how do we bridge the gap to the continent? How do we build our economics? How do we survive in the world that we're living in at this present time with all that is going on, with all the young men and women that are being murdered and unalived, whether in the United States where a lot of ones are living, in the Caribbean where a lot of I are living, so those are the things that some people may be focused on. Those who know the Sabbath, we all know the Sabbath and we know what it is, but those who can do what they can do, you allow them to still continue to do it. And those who can do this, the governmental work or figure out the parliament or figure out other things, you allow them to do that. Doesn't mean that they don't know the service, they don't want to be a part of the service, but sometimes a person may have gone through that, like an elder, a person who has been in the Congress for 30, 40 plus years, have been through that. So they may be ready to go through another phase to help move it forward. So we can't say they don't want to come to the service or they don't like service or they don't this. It is just that they have done that. It is time to move forward. What else can we as a people do? I've always asked, what stand is has the Congress taken or is taking with regards to all the things that are happening in the world? And I don't mean just the Council of Elders, I mean the Congress as a whole. We have young men that are being murdered, young Black men, Black women. We have,
Yeah, man, everything.
birthright privileges that are looking to be taken away from Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, and somewhere else so we want to be a part of that conversation so that because we have children here, our grandchildren are here still. So we are here still. So we need to make certain that, we are good in the spaces that we are in, my Lord and Empress.
Yes. 2 points, Empress. 2 points I want to bring. I brought up that example to show with the disparity between I and I. I know why because the brethren was showing the disparity between the houses, and I was showing the disparity between us. Another point Priest Brown had brought up to say the praises bring forward a unity. So I understand what you say, and our words will be impetuous, and we leave it like that. But I know exactly why I say that. It was a disparity between brethren. And the other point, which what we can show to even the one who blocked the song of the Bible and hymn book, is that the clearance what is given, wherein we say, we wouldn't just have the Bible on the altar, but we will have also selected speeches of His Majesty, Kibra and also philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey. So these readings and these writings will keep us in the now. You know, that way they're moving forward, as you say. You know,
Yes.
so give thanks there.
And also understanding that yes, praises does bring the unity, but solidarity, the fight for freedom, redemption, repatriation also brings that unity also. Blessed.
Rastafari.
To the chair, Majesty.
My Lord.
Yeah, just for clarity, I got kicked off a moment ago and just got back on. Just as the correction was coming in. Yeah, well, the speech, the war speech that was referenced is the speech that says today for me, tomorrow for you. The fire you light in Africa, in
Right.
Ethiopia, will burn
Right.
to you. That's the war speech that you were referencing.
Rastafari.
Not the one that
Struck
reggae.
Timothy in Ethiopia, but shall burn Europe.
Yeah,
Yes.
not the reggae, not what the reggae, not the reggae type one. That okay. So
Not the one
just
they
one.
put reggae music to. Not the one they put
I'm
reggae
sorry.
music to.
I'm sorry. That is it. That's because everybody know that one. The due to the reggae music. They don't even know it. A lot of ones hear it and don't even know that it applies to Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Secondly, you know, we say praises bring the unity. What do we mean?
What we mean, my
Honorable
lord?
what is meant by that?
Well, in my perspective, praises with a free heart brings a communist amongst us, wherein we can sit down and reason, we can talk of things. I ain't talking of a dogmatic way, because look how me and the idea we come down Miami and we come at surface and we have praises. And it make me feel closer to the item. It make me feel like we could sit down and we could reason about things together. So when we come together in the right way, in the right manner, and the right mindset, and our free heart of praises, it brings us more coming together. My Lord, that's my little interpretation of it, my Lord.
Chris Brown, you're icon for the floor.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress, to give thanks. My basis is really also based
Put your
upon
mouth
some.
closer to the mic. We're not hearing you loud.
Yeah, when I research the power of music, music is an unwritten language which scientific, scientifically proven to has that quality to bind. When we say praises, I should put praises in harmony because you once you can find the ability to harmonize with sound, you make a metaphysical or scientific connection. So because there are praises that go through with pure disharmony, so we start to see that. But that's why I say praises with harmony that brings forth that bonding. My Lord and Empress, do give thanks.
My Lord.
Give thanks both of the items for what was meant. Why I asked the purpose for asking is we kind of always affix everything about our function and development to the spiritual, ritualistic side of I and I. liberty. I and I chanting in praises as Bobo together may bring the unity among Bobo, but it does not bring the unity that is required for nationhood. And I don't even see it bringing the unity among Bobo, but I'm saying it may have the potential to, as the Honorable Priest Brown say, praises in harmony. But it is not the solution to the nationhood problem. And that is what I and I want to make clear. See, coming together to give praises is essential for our faith-based practice and development. Faith-based, okay? And every people have a right to, just like the human rights established, everyone have a right to their religious practices and practice them faith. See? But beyond the faith aspect, because unless we are saying that everybody have to go convert to Bobo or convert to Rasta for us to have a nation, and I don't think that we could be saying that as intelligent people. So I will remove that from the conversation. That is not it.
Yeah.
And if that is not it, then faith is part of our spirituality, personal. What we need to do in trying to galvanize unity is to start to have an open mind and an open heart. That is where I see we have a problem in general, among ourselves as Bobo and Rastafari. We don't have that open mind and open heart. We keep things pent up in those two places. Memories of past negative, and then we honorable.
Priest, this is
Go
why I
ahead.
say we're not digesting or we're not understanding the service order and as I say, the faith. Because I rather see it as a springboard to do everything. It ain't say you have to go, a man have to come in and the service, but it's an essential part of our liberty order. And it's also a springboard for the governmental works. It's a springboard because a man go down on a governmental work, but them no say, now you come go and rock if it's a service order I go through, and them going somewhere else on a mission. But that connection, me saying, with the temporal and spiritual is what may I say. It's like a springboard to all the works that is going through, not taken away from none. You know that way? My lord. But I see
Like I
Empress
said,
Lily may have up she hand.
like I said, see, I don't disagree with that for I and I as Bobo. We understand
Yeah.
what that means. You understand what? So I tried to make that clear a while ago. We understand that aspect, like Honorable Priest Brown said it. Praise is in harmony. Is what has that power to galvanize us, But it is not the solution for the nation development, is what I'm saying. It is not. And we have been bogged down in believing this. We have applied our whole advocacy, our whole everything now to just the service. And among Bobo right now, the most important thing is the service, And during King Emmanuel time, the letters went out just as much as the service went on.
That's what I talk about.
The
Natural.
agitation went on just as much as the service went
Natural.
on.
Yes,
But
priest.
we are
Yes, I am.
focusing, we have applied our whole power. We have empowered our ceremony with we have put everything in it, thinking that by doing that, it will be able to
Create
release us
something
from
magically. Nah.
for personal development. It makes you a better person. Coming into the service. Don't talk about I and I as priests, because we are priests. That is our life. See? But when ministering a service to the black world, to the Pan-African world, it is a source of self-empowerment. We are teaching ones to see the God in themselves and to power
Rastafari.
that inner man so the outer man can be also empowered. See, that is
My
what
Lord.
that does. You know, see, we're not minimizing that. And that is, this is, you see, this is why theological conversation needs to be had. And theological conversation can't be had when you're in a rush, you know. You have to have like a retreat and time to have these discussions because at first statement, a person will hear it and run away now without understanding and villainize the person who made the statement without understanding clearly what the
Say.
statement is reflecting. Right away now them say, oh, priest Dougie anti this, anti that, anti blah 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 blah.
But you know we bigger than that, priest. We not
No,
looking
but
at nothing so.
I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying the group. We have become accustomed to each other now and how we reason. But I'm talking with the wider family. Say somebody listening to this for the first time, coming on a live stream, and not because we did not have the time, like how we are taking the time now to widen the conversation, so all components now are visible. See, we are not undermining the power of our spirituality. We know the power. It's the proper use of it is what we are defining, you know, in our conversation. Blessed.
My Lord. Floor is open, my Honorable Empress Lily May, Bobo Ken, Priest Adigan. Empress Lily May, freedom. We not hear
Mama Lily, oi.
you. She might unmute, but we not hear she.
Where you gonna respond with Mama Lily? I know it's late over there. Well, not that late, yeah. Well, late enough.
And she, yes, Empress Lily May. All right. In the meantime, while she gets herself together, Bobo Ken, I know I know how your phone is. Unmute your mic and talk. Let me see how we can go this week if we can hear you.
Mama Lily just mute her mic, so I don't know if she was hearing us.
Muted back. Yes,
You hearing us,
Empress
Mama
Lily
Lily?
May.
We're just not hearing you.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, it looks so.
Technical. Bobo Ken. Your mic still low. We not hear you no more. My Lord,
What's
hearing
that?
you a little better.
Yeah, because I had it over a calabash to hear the item because I got some kind of program in the
You
neighborhood.
gone again.
Yeah.
Judgment. The item could hear me again.
Barely, but go ahead.
Well, my Lord and Empress, I ain't gonna take up too much time, but give thanks for Priest Brown clarity and the virtues of a virtuous Empress and dealing with an Empress true quality and spirit before trying to deal with the flesh. Give thanks for the item and understand them. Priest Savannah, with all due respect, I'm gonna keep it vague and general. Man ain't give up on the Empress, and the Empress ain't give up on me, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Irie, blessed love.
Hey, Lord.
All
right.
you remember?
Yeah. And I have a priest Adigan. Give thanks, Bobo Ken. You have
And
to
it
get
sound
that
like
mic fixed.
valid to say to my lad, you need to fix your phone, because you have something to contribute. And we are here to learn and want to learn from the eye, but we're not hearing the lesson. Jano.
My Lord.
Mama Lily. You want to try again, Mama Lily? I see you open your mic and mute it a while ago.
She getting technical.
Right here.
Yes, my Lord.
Yes. I don't hear any sound here. Yes, Honorable. I as a priest now, right? Because you have master in a hall of the different field. You know, and you never have to write a letter, you know. Yeah, you have the master, you know, that if I prove the letter, you have the master, you know that. So, I and I other people, even I man, how I man look on this thing here at all time, right? Me not separate it. Me look on it like a temple. All the while it always be a temple of man and woman, you know what I mean? And the temple of man and woman can a spiritual part, you know, where man would have said in my area now, because I not really see temple. You see, and a temporal part. You see, sometimes we divide it up in a offices, you know, says, yeah, the spiritual part, you know, the priest them supposed to see that the order go through. But at that said moment there, you have someone gone on a temporal part as priest also. You know what I mean?
Natural.
Because we are talking about how the kingdom set for running on now. And I like one maybe I run now, you know. We have to talk about our father set in things. So a man gonna stick bush, a man gonna be clean, and a man gone on him duty said you for go into the office them. So the letter never really stop right. If it even slow down, you know. Yes, when me I say, and sometimes we don't look for ourselves, limit ourselves, but the work even bigger than just ourselves, you know, cause sometimes a man that say what you do and what you do and what you do. But as long as you come say this thing, you know, Rastafari, you know, you see that nothing really changed. It come like, yes, the earlier days Rastaman, it look like them a push their neck in a guillotine where them really stand up for. You see, prison, you know, that's a herb seed, you know, enough beat and all of them things there. So, you know, them not say where them a put themselves in a, you know, them a youth that say them not really see where them a put themselves in as the fashion. But I and I, we come and come know our father, we become apostle in the thing, you know, because enough man can't be priest, you know. But him no must be apostle because him never come sit down with the father and you know what I mean? But him still get a blessing, still although him never come sit down with the father. Blessed are those who have not seen, you know, and yet their faith have constant being. Because you know, so enough youth, you know, never see the emperor. Yet him still come stand up and come do the work. Enough never see Marcus Garvey. Him still come stand up and do the work. So, but you know, no I and I did know when Selassie came to Trinidad and Jamaica and still are here today. You know, see it. So our eyes behold the glory of the coming of the King and see him in our flesh. You know, and I who even is here at the moment say, come and sit with Emmanuel. You see it, and you know what I mean. You know, see, I just a natural man like any other natural man because some of the time, you know, when you them a reason about, you know, our father like is a superman we are speak about, but any superman we are speak about, to here, any ancestor we are speak about, or any glory we are speak about. Because some of the time it does seem like we not accomplish nothing. But just to be here is a great accomplishment. You know what I mean? Just to even dep on a program like this. And I saw you have to see the winnings. You can see the winnings now too. You say I'm on with a big ship now. That are still material thing. Me still get a big ship also and look more me switch. You know, when me never have nothing look upon the love when me have. As me get a big ship now, you want to say, you know, me heart switch to material, you know what I mean? Yes, that I know, just give thanks to yourself at the moment and just keeping it black and beautiful because, you know, at the black and beautiful, make everything could have possible. One perfect love. Right from there.
My Lord. Blessed. Good song. And I have a priest Adigan, my Lord. Empress Lily May, your mic on mute. You could talk, we never was hearing you. All right. Priest Adigan? Yeah.
To give thanks.
My
Yes,
Lord.
and as I once said about the service, I would have used a different word. And I feel say the word fellowship can be used globally, not just in a church setting and a spiritual setting. So I want to use the word fellowship. And
all right.
unique thing about the EABIC then and the churchical, if we are going to go there, so we don't just culture churchical things on the altar. Prime example, you give I the title Riley historian, right? And other ones concur with it and we reference it to him and see. Now, 23rd of July in England keep a celebration and I culture about the birth of His Majesty. The things what happened. After a day pass, and an empress inbox me on Facebook and say she learned things for the first time in her life about the emperor in all the years she been a Rastafari that she never learned again. She never learned before, and that might have been in a churchical setting, but she learned a historical thing from a churchical platform, right? Because when we say we stand governmental, parliamental, there are things non-churchical being said in the churchical. So I concur with that analogy that it is a springboard for bring the statical to the people, which is the bigger work, because it is a statical that has to deal with the diaspora and the continental. You understand? So you see, but yet Marcus Garvey was a man in all his statical works he did, right? The man them did always have them churchical unit. So yeah, fellowshipping is a thing we do all the while amongst ourselves. And out of fellowshipping, it's not just spiritual reasoning alone, because the same altar, and not just spiritual reasoning, me see parliamentary procedure reason upon the altar, all kind of things reason upon the altar. So it is a good stepping stone, but I do understand upon the global. But if you invite someone to a gathering now and you talk something pertaining to history, you might be winning a soul because they say, I never know that, you know. Now give the bubble them a check, you know. Me want to go inside to learn more. You understand?
Yes, I.
You understand them kind of level? So you send out an invitation, right? And yeah, people think it's just a churchical fellowship. But yet, you say something on that altar which don't relate to churchical things per se. It might relate to Marcus Garvey's UNIA and how we set it up and the dynamics of that UNIA, which is not necessarily a churchical concept you're putting out there. So the same altar does not just portray just spiritual and churchical things. It does declare secular knowledge also. I proved it myself. You understand? So when you go upon it, parliamental, statical, churchical, when you state in them thing there, if you take away all the in book and the Bible trimmings and them spiritual talk, right? Them thing they no relate to churchical thing when you say governmental, parliamental, statical. Is when you say churchical and sabbatical, no, that are bringing the church and the spiritual things. So when priest Imley said is that stepping stone, that kind of concurred with that for say, yeah, more time as a man who sail upon the altar, who sail out upon the altar and know say different things have been cultured, which is not just churchical. So yeah, while we might gravitate to the churchical things more, the same church does put out things pertaining to the statical if you're diligent and know what you're dealing with. My Lord and Empress. Yes.
But what are you gonna say,
But
please?
hold it right there. Let me get this one. You go put all of it in the mix. One of the contexts I was going with to say, all right, the a delegation going on a 3-day mission to United Nations settings or AU settings, all right? So we are 3 men going out, you know, but they leave in a particular time. That I say, well, all right, service rise up, get to him, say to him before you're gonna, or even one him. So that spirituality you're going with. It ain't to say we come to convert the world, but that is as I say, we generator. So the 3 man them who getting ready to go on that 3-day or 5-day mission, them get a send off with to him on the way, and them, put them in that state of mind. So that was one of the context I was looking at, priest, to say the combination with the temporal and spiritual moving hand in hand, my lord. Go ahead, priest Savannah.
No, Mama Lily, you can talk now.
Blessed
Yeah.
love, you all hearing me?
Oh,
Yes,
blessed love, we now hearing you. We are
Yes,
now hearing you.
I went out and come back in.
Side. Yes, Empress, give thanks. We are
I would like to
yeah,
say,
we are your heirs.
yes, happy celebration to one and all. Good reasoning and give thanks to the
Rastafari.
online brethren and sisters who listening in and give us that great correction. And Patricia,
Yes.
thank you for all the pictures of the matriarchs that you put up on the screen. I could identify with some of the names, and then I see the faces. Great information, great information. Priest Savannah, do you know Empress Amy Ashwood Garvey came into the UNA with Marcus Garvey as co-founder at age 17, my
Yes.
lord.
Yes, Empress.
And yes, and she was a poet also and a great public speaker also. And she had her own views, you know. She was very militant, very, very militant, you know. Whereas Amy Jakes Garvey was more humble. Amy Ashwood took a bullet for Marcus Garvey, and you have to be militant to do that, because coming into Rastafari in 1975, his militancy make me came into Rastafari, because I saw the injustice. And at the time, at 17 also, Angela Davis, the
Yes.
Black Panther sister with her big afro, Yes, I
Yes,
wanted to look like her, I wanted to look like her and move like her, and
yes,
And in them times, then in 1970s too, we used to talk about Armageddon warfare. Because I still look at myself as a soldier, a woman soldier, And I have my sisters who in my army too, like Empress Tai too, Because because I am identified with Empress Tai too before I know, not even before I know the glory, but that militancy was in my heart, I
Yes,
love Empress
Empress.
Tai too. And do you know Empress Menen? This might be a fable too. That Empress Menen took what do you call it again? Not a machine gun. One of those army bulldozers what could pull down. I think she broke through a gate, and when they had His Majesty under house arrest, and she rescued him. Please, Rastavana, you know about that fable?
Remember, we presented that here, Mama.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, good. So I give thanks and glorify, for all the matriarchs, and even in this book I sent it Rasravana to by Nzinga Asanta. She even spoke, about many freedom fighters, Pan-Africaners, and some of them was mentioned today too in this presentation. And even Mr. Garvey, said a speech that it's time for the woman to come out of the kitchen,
Rastafari.
And the UNA had a lot of woman presidents, and every branch had a secretary, And we, as Rastafari in general, who ain't going into music, going into other aspects. Well, the Bobo Shanti, like we saying, they hold on to the spirituality. Well, what happened to the militancy? Like we get complacent, And I still stand up for injustice anywhere I go, anytime I see injustice, my militancy just kicking and I ready to fight, not temporarily, but stand up for
Yeah,
your
yeah,
rights.
yeah,
Get
yeah.
up, stand up for
Yes,
your
Christ
rights,
stand up for your rights. Yes, Empress.
Yeah. But I give thanks and glorify for all the matriarchs and all the patriarchs. Them who gone
Most
before, them who here, and the Women's Freedom Liberation Leaguers. Sister Trisha, Sister Dion, Sister Miriam, myself, Sister Dion, Sister Divine, Sister Fire Goddess, Sister Cindy, Sister Felicia. Not for us, man. We are militant.
Rastafari. 7,000 who
Militant
never bought a
sisters, man.
ball.
Ow.
Yes, I.
Is she?
Yes, I.
I mean, nah, about,
That me I talk about, man. 7,000
Nah,
who never
about.
bow. Rastafari.
Yeah, this
Yes,
Armageddon warfare, we can carry it on, with our spirituality. Because I is one of them. I is one of them who love spirituality. Because I was a salvation, not was, but chewing got on tabernacle in Ethiopia. But I used to live in the tabernacle.
Yeah,
What Priest
salvation
Brown
warrior.
say? Yeah, what Priest Brown say too? The fellowship and praises, they bring a unity. Sometimes we'll have a little something amongst one another as sisters. You see, when you and two sisters buck up on tabernacle and you don't sing and wash your heart, when you come out, man, you forgive her.
Rastafari. That's how it's supposed to be.
But that's how it was. That's how it was in our time. Yeah, you just look at what the priest them say with forgiveness and love and unity, and we can't go to Zion. Priest Rastafari and I give thanks on the two topics you bring about the Book of the Dead and the next one. What you say,
Mama.
yeah, man. Yeah, what they bring up in the Bible, man, would make you tremble. You know what, Dave?
I wanted to add something to what you said though about Amy Ashwood as you had brought it up. At 17, at 17, she was not just just a partner with Garvey. She was the architect behind the UNI.
I know that. It's her idea.
And not only that, she took the finances from her family and made it a reality.
The two Garvey women were wealthy, The two Garvey women were wealthy. The two of them. They came from wealthy families.
She's the one that laid the foundation, though. That Amy Ashwood there laid the foundation. She was not just a showpiece or just a voice. She was what you call the real deal. You understand? She sacrificed.
The backbone.
Yes, she sacrificed the traditional wife profile to be an activist. That's part of her if you read her biography, that's part of her biography. She sacrificed that traditional wife having children and setting up the home to do what she did from 17.
Yes, 17.
When she split with Garvey in 1920 and went her way, she didn't just go stop, She went on to organize and organize and organize. She started many other groups. She traveled all around organizing institutions among the women.
Even Steve Biko. I saw a picture of him today, and Patricia put it up on the screen, man. I always remember that picture. He is one of her students in apartheid in South Africa.
Like I said, this woman was a phenomenon. She rose a lot of women that stood up back then. Along with many of the names that we call, and there's so much that we didn't call because we didn't really get into those who attended the conference itself, because most of them were wives of the leaders, the first leaders of the independent Africa. See, Betty Kaunda, like Kenneth Kaunda's wife, Betty Kaunda. She was a main person in the organizing of the first conference. And Nkrumah's wife was also instrumental. There's so many of those women that were active back then. I mean, seriously active in their space because they were in different spaces but doing similar things, in creating institutions, whether for the woman or whether just for the black diaspora, the black race of I and I. See, they were hard at work. And that is one thing that we were never taught. We were never the only person that I grew up knowing as someone monumental, seeing before the Rasta culture came into my life, was Nanny of the Maroons. And the way we learned about Nanny back then, it seemed like a fable because they allegorized it. They put the history, but they put it in a cartoon fashion because they would talk about they used her spiritual prowess, meaning her spiritual
Yes,
ability,
yes, but she
as like
catch
a
bullet on her bottom.
yes, like a joke thing. So yes, sir, it made you not really look at it as how you really should have looked at it because she was a spiritual woman. She had spiritual
Yes,
ability, but
yes,
they did not understand those spiritual abilities, so they turned it into some kind of cartoon fable. See, but she was able to appear to the British them, and when them look, she disappear again because she knew her terrain, she knew her place, she knew how to move. You understand? They had an understanding of how to use nature, how to conjure, how to. There was science was a natural ability to our ancestors. We lost that, and we have been taught what we have been taught. So we now look at that as magic and something abnormal. But if we were growing up back then in Africa among our ancestors, it was not abnormal. It was normality. Place like Akibilan, alchemy, alchemy, the name. It was a place of scientists, not some.
Alchemist.
Yes, it's not some voodoo, cutting off goat head, draining blood type of thing I'm talking about. Even though that may have been part of some of their rituals too. But I'm talking about higher science, understanding how to manipulate nature and its naturality for their benefit. Family. But what can I see have your hand up? But I don't know
My
if you're
lord.
here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bubba Ken. Unmute your mic.
I don't go hear me any clearer now.
Little bit.
If you can stay there, so yeah, if you can stay at there, so
My
we
lord
can
and
tolerate.
yeah, my lord and empress, if you a bit of patience, if you listen patiently. I give
Every
thanks for
time
the
so that
empress and give thanks for the celebration and the Women's Day celebration going through. It's a level of respect and in response to Priest Earl same way. When I said that to Priest Savannah, I mean to say Priest Aimsley teach me a thing when I was living in a tabernacle in Philly with Empress Annie. Priest Aimsley said we should all learn each other because when Christ said love thy neighbor as thyself, he mean we must all learn each other as brother and sister. So the love me and the Empress have for each other, it ain't no carnal love, like we don't need to get together. She showing me physical healing and I showing she the spiritual meditation. But it's a respect same way because whether Empress choose a king or what, and I already been a brethren to a sister, I should still show that respect and honor the same way I show to my mother and father, the same way I have to show to my daughter and her mother and her grandmother, the same way I have to show to every empress on this panel. So give thanks for the Women's Day celebration because a woman is the portal. And I was about to say a woman's body, but that would lead to a carnal meditation. You check, and it ain't no joke, my lord and empress. It's a serious meditation because a woman is the portal to reincarnation. I get to be this strong as a Rasta man because my mother, the realest Rasta woman I know. You check?
My lord.
Before I get emotional, a blessed heart I love my Lord and give thanks.
Honorable Bubba Ken. Heart
Yeah,
of
and once again, give
celebration.
thanks, Priest Brown, for the purity and the meditation and how I explain that when he meet the sister and brethren them in Rastafari, especially the sister, he don't lead with a carnal meditation towards them. He do what precise he show me when I was living in the tabernacle to learn each other. We mustn't lust after each other just by sight. And this is what I be telling the Empress them online. Cover up the shoulder and the chest and them thing. Can't just me seeing them. All kind of other people seeing them. You know?
My Lord.
My
Give
Lord,
thanks for
bless
the
the
word.
heart of the
Yeah,
king.
give thanks for the margin word, the guideline words, you know. Yeah.
My Lord.
Good
What was he saying
good be
in
good
regards?
mannerism.
What was he saying on our chair in regards to I man in regards to Priest Savannah? I didn't get that the all that the reference to that. Did you understand it? Was he
No,
referring to that state?
some some data I ain't really know the fullness, you know, but I take it to it is why he there, you know. He look at people in an upful manner and it's a good guideline. You know.
No, I'm not even wondering what he said. I was just wondering how he referred. If he was referring to
Yeah, yeah,
something that because
yeah.
I
And
didn't.
yeah, like I'm a priest Earl. So
You
the floor is open, my Lord and Empress, and it's 3:37, so we're gonna be coming down in the next half an hour. Empress Deborah, I was gonna call you anyway, because I didn't hear your voice for the day. So unmute your mic, the floor is yours. Unmute your mic, Empress. Bless, like she not near she phone. Yes, my Lord and Empress.
Through this year,
You know
through
it's
this year, precisely, my Lord.
blessed.
As we come into the
My Lord.
close, I would just like to share this. I've shared it with many a brethren, but I'm just to share this universally to broaden my scope of understanding and ministering. First thing that applied me to that, as a priest, I must know the ear of all hymns. And secondly, he told me that I must not be able to just sing them as I come to learn that the tune of Bobo Hill, but I should also learn to sing them in the Bakawal as he word him use rhythm. You know, so that I say this that many of us needs to broaden our mind and our knowledge of things. Because
My
from high
Lord.
from high
Empress
school,
Deborah.
the Psalms was one Psalms I learned that it had a theatrical tune and it also a secular tune. You know? So give thanks for life and love, my Lord and Empress.
Honorable priest, Majesty bless.
Open our
Honorable,
mics. So, mm.
Honorable Empress Demora, your mic is open. Go ahead.
Blessed art love,
Blessed love.
blessed love family. Give thanks to Most High, Eternal One of Creation, King Emmanuel, Charles Edwards, and Bride Selassie, Empress Menonai, Selassie, Jah Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Yes, my Lord, Empress. I kind of did miss out on a lot of what was said, and I don't know if the topic today was on the book of coming forth by day and night or something like that. I
The
wasn't too sure if you had
unsung
any.
heroes, the empresses, the plight of the empresses at the side of great leaders, how sometimes they are overlooked. And we spoke about Prophet Marcus Garvey's first wife, how very instrumental she was in setting up the UNIA. And how they also set the Pan-African African Woman Conference in 1962, 1 year ahead of Empress Selassie OAU. So we were giving honors and glory to our matriarchs and to know say how the matriarch living was a natural. So that's what we was basically speaking about, Empress.
Okay, yeah, man, give
The
thanks.
Royal
So,
Empress, let me give some clarity. Hold on, Empress, let me give some clarity. We opened up just with a concise inner view into the afterlife through the book of Coming Forth by Day. That's how we opened it up to set the mindset, of tapping into the ancestral energy, which is what we did when we returned to the past, take the Sankofa back into 1962 to look at various empresses and their contribution to the struggle that we are in presently, the Pan-African struggle. Blessed love, Empress.
oh, okay. Well, I kind of just have as I kind of did miss it, but I don't know what was said on the
Yeah,
I know
not to
the
digest.
Egyptian,
Not to digest.
the
Just add
yeah.
add whatever your thoughts are, or ask your questions.
Yeah,
Anything.
Yes,
yeah.
give thanks. Yeah. So,
Rastafari.
I just wanted to know, like that book, it was it's the Egyptian, it is an Egyptian original text, and it was translated in 1975. That's the Book of the Dead was translated and combined with the Book of Life by some author. So anyways, the afterlife navigation, and it spoke about overcoming spiritual obstacles and re-emerging into that light. That book was the Going Forward by Day. So it's kind of like a merger from what I understand. And so right now I think we should focus on how to escape this material prison, even though it's a state of mind, right? It could be in heaven and hell right here, but this whole thing, was created by so-called gods. If we do check it out, that's why the woman plays a significant role, as I will explain further down. So, what we do must just try to inquire that divine insight and just to know how to go within ourselves, because anyhow you take it. However, the soul must learn how to ascend. It must learn how to ascend. And because there's perilous and past hostile cosmic forces when I want put on their flesh, they have to battle it. So I guess this is what they were really talking about. So there's a sort of a parallel between the Egyptian mysticism and the actual knowing of who we are as man and woman, in reality, our existence is really viewed as a temporary fluid that's entrapped in matter. So this kind of thing requires a certain kind of knowledge and a breaking free, right? So just knowing about these divine things, just as the Egyptian tried to push forward certain things, they had some kind of thing from the book or sword spells and how you must pass through gates and underworld into eternal light and all these things. So we as ones and ones, we know that we have a divine spark within us, right? And we know who we are, and once we ascend past all planetary rulers and back forward to the ultimate transcendent light, where we belong as lights and as energy, if you want to call it. So, the true Black Christ taught us in the manner of our redemption that when one undergoes the pang of death, right, there's demonic forces that ones have to encounter
and it's real and it seizes one. So, example, one of the forces, that's why I see the woman, we know a lot, but it's the reception. And as man, we must be open-minded because we ask the question that asks, I divert a bit. Is the Empress is ready? Yeah, but sometimes the things you have to say, we don't know how it would be accepted, but nevertheless, the song have to go out and we put two and two together, So, in these books and certain things and other cultures too, it's good to study other cultures. That's what they took away, other cultures, because you'll be able to put two and two together, So, for example, one of these forces, upon one putting down the structure, one of the forces will ask, where are you from? Or who are you? And you could say, well, I come from the Father, and, another force might even ask, what kind of person are you? Who is your father? You must answer, I am the Father who exists before time. So another question might be, why were you sent here? You can say, I come from eternity to learn to distinguish between the spiritual things and the physical things, or call it matter. And you could also say, well, I have learned that matter is actually existing in spirit because it comes from mother. That's why you see the mother coming up. You can't negate that, And the mother lives inside the father. They are one, So you can say that I am the imperishable knowledge that is in the mother goddess who lives eternally inside the Father, or call it, as the church said, the Holy Spirit. They try to formulate it, whatever. But then, after you know yourself and you know who you truly are, then you are free to ascend to the kingdom of light, which is your own light, our own light. So as long as we know who we are and try to remember and seek out who we are, which is a divine spark, a divine spirit who exists beyond time, if you know what I mean, then we're free to merge into the Father's light, which is the same as the light of our own spirit. So as we consciously connect with our higher self, we achieve a perfect freedom that not even death can stop us, from experiencing our unity with God. It's a sort of a oneness, because God is one, right? So our soul as is the same as we are. We are our soul and we, if you know what I mean. So it's just revealing what we have inside. So it's like I am in the Father and the Father is in I, so to speak, So so the Holy Spirit is our own inner self, So when we read in the Bible too, the Bible stories, example, we must understand it because they don't come. It's a thing you have to solve. Don't take it at face value because, example, the Old Testament talk about God planted two trees in the garden. One was of knowledge and the other of immortality. And it also forbid Adam and Eve from eating. So how come? I mean, it's just a question. Anyone can take it up, It was sort of a forbidden. So it's this divine gift of immortality and knowledge was forbidden. So to me, it seems like in the Old Testament, these gods are some kind of evil trap, to trap our soul in this world of matter. So these gods created to become these gods were created. They want us to become subject to their power to prevent from realizing our true divine nature, our divine being, right? That is basically from the kingdom of light, who transcends this world of suffering, which our soul are enslaved. So, yeah, and somebody could like answer it, So, this serpent, who was the serpent? And as they say, the serpent was sent. That story was sent to Eve, but why? Why Eve? Because Eve was more spiritually advanced than Adam. If you understand the whole concept of certain things as we go along in this journey, To this day, man remains a subject of death, and we must reject this malevolent creator God. It's a script that was put there to just so our soul could just remain trapped in this matter. So we must turn again to
All right,
our
Empress.
supreme being
Make we answer the
kingdom.
question.
All right, I'm coming down now, just 2 seconds. All right. So thunder and lightning on the belief that attaining knowledge and immortality is forbidden. One must purify self until you achieve wisdom and knowledge, and it's a divine reality. Then one could escape this reincarnation, right? And back that to God and goddesses, you have that divine grace. So give thanks for this few words. And as you know, John Marcus, just closing now, John Marcus, I, Selassie, I, Jah Rastafari, give me a joy to hear everyone talk about John. It's a movement, It's not Christianity, it's a movement. And all must know, because I even heard the Empress was talking about when we as Bobo put down with flesh, we pass them to family. And I encourage the Empress, there's passage of rights, there's things that need to be taught, and these are our ancestral traditions. So I encourage the Empress to let me get these things done and have this Jerusalem schoolroom to teach us about ourselves, and safe in passing through. Give thanks and praise.
Blessed love. Rastafari. Yes, I. Preach Rastafari.
Yeah, give thanks to the Empress, a lot of food she put on the table within our presentation. But she asked a question, right? Could you reiterate the question for I and I so we could get the question itself clearly, Empress?
Why it was sent to Eve?
Yeah,
That's
like why this? Yeah, the personalize Eve as so and so, but why was that serpent? And what was that serpent representing? Knowledge, or I don't know, but why Eve?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. So it's a Christian story, created by for their use in whatever they were doing. Now, in the African theology, we don't have that interpretation in our creation story. The creation story is totally different from the Adam and Eve philosophy. Now, if we're looking at what it has done as a tool, I think that would more give us the answer to why Eve. Eve is the important factor. Eve representing the divine feminine energy. That's what I and I is using it as in this reasoning, not in its general context, just in this reasoning. It represents the divine feminine energy, meaning now the balance to the male divine energy. Without the balance being equally respected, we become unbalanced. And when you become unbalanced, there's problems. That is what it has done to I and I. That is what that whole biblical story, I told this some weeks ago. It's if it wasn't so serious, it would be very funny. But I was watching one of the early Rastafari documentaries back in the day when I and I was rising up, and they were interviewing Rasta Rasta Voices, I think the name of it is. And it have an elder sitting and born in a chalice. And someone is interviewing him. And the topic of Eve come up. And just the way the elder respond, you could hear the colonial narrative coming out of him, even though he's Rastafari and he's trying to fight that energy. See, but because it was the schooling of the day, it was how we were taught. He responding according to how the philosophy that existed within that moment. You know, when he was asked about Eve, him say, Eve, she is the root of evil. Same way Sam say it, you know. And just the way him say it, and the way he went on now to embellish what he meant. Yeah, it was such a negative understanding that goes against Emperor Haile Selassie I and his
Rastafari.
presentation of what an Eve or a divine feminine energy values and means to I and I. Because it values the balance of us in so much that he dispensed with that with thousands of years of tradition, a tradition that's been going on for thousands of years, for millennia. Seeing where the empress will be crowned days later in a different setting and so forth, showing a kind of subordinate type of role. The emperor stepped on that and mashed that down and brought the empress into that equality where she now represents the balance within the energy that makes up God. You understand? So it was directly sent to Eve to distort us, and it has distorted us. Because even in Rastafari, it took years for us calling them queen to start treating them like queens. And there's a difference. It's a difference to title someone, and there's a difference in how you treat that one according to their title. See, and it has taken years for even I and I Rastafari to start treating those who we call the queens as queens. That's how much effect that story and that narrative and that scripture has on the human psyche. Blessed Lord.
My Lord. Floor is open. We can bring it down in the next couple of moments. Almost 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and any summaries? Any final comments? Okay, well, I will add my 2 cents to the reasoning. Because we didn't
Yes,
get to go.
Honorable, please.
All right. Honorable, please, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, pertaining to Eve, right? Sometime when you hear about the snake, because we know the snake did the where it represent. You see it in this time, yeah, you know, after Bible time, after the white men come in, the snake is kind of change how it represent. You know? But the snake was that thing where we recognize, from the day 7 chakra. You know what I mean? Yes, from the lower part, always look upon like is a snake energy from down there coming up, to the highest level. That's why you see even one of the pharaohs carry the ark and the snake, and the snake they still represent wisdom because remember our story them Peter rising and bringing the Adam thing, but we have our ancient drawing where you can see, Eve, no, not Eve. Shishak, I will show her name or something like that, And we have the ancient hospital, before it name hospital where you see the birthing stool and all of these things. So this Eve thing, is something them plagiarize from high and high. And, them kind of want to give us it wrong. You see it? Yeah. But the snake now really must represent evil, the state still can represent the consciousness, but the story that they give us is just a story, Bible story where the Ike saw. And when the Ike saw them come in, them start rewrite, the Asian school them. So, it's just a story. You see it, and you could have looked and if the story they started Eve there, so a crucifixion again. The first day of the week, them that say a Eve, but them say a woman clad in white, Yes. And the first day of the week, the woman clad in white, they came to, the resurrection. A angel clad in white she see, who sat and speak unto the tree. Your Lord would go to Galilee. So, since a woman again right down in the sea part, just like what I tell about a woman, up there so. But if you don't wise at this, so them start put that negative energy now on the mother because they must speak about the wrong way. Did mother did do. And them now make say the mother make the king sit down on the throne. Sometimes I don't even fear her son to go up on the throne, but to force him to go up on the throne. So without the mother, you don't have the king to sit down on the throne. One perfect love, right? For me.
My Lord.
Yes, I.
Through
Yeah,
the
just
chair,
to
my
say,
Lord.
3-7, right.
Oh, my Lord, bless it. Yeah, just in response to
someone
the
asking for the floor.
reasonings. That's my Lord. You item hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the reason was on the churchical order bringing unity and nation building. Yeah. Yeah, so the churchical order goes hand in hand with the government and the state, like a triune, you know. When we observe the settings we have of the Congress within the camp, right, referred to as the foundation network of repatriation. It's not just a tabernacle we have, you know. You have gatehouse, you have food house, you have office, you have conference hall, you have Empress Journey Yard, you have Empress Quarters, checkpoint. You have settings to make things function a certain way, and as operational as we keep the tabernacle is the same way we're supposed to keep all these other departments operational, especially the office and gatehouse, right? We look at Bubble Hill, in this time it's like, what you would say, a tourist attraction, that is because we have it at that level, but it can rise much more greater than that. From you have a tourist attraction, that means say you have an international thing going on where people from all across the world come in. They say, but when people come, we shine the light, we tell them what we know and what we could do. They say and what we stand for. But how much do we search out their intelligence and their potential and what they want to offer or have to offer? You see it? Same thing when service is going on. It's not just service going on, but people coming in, people of intelligence. You see it? People with know-how and people who is willing to contribute. You see it? But what do? We just more time show them what we know. So what we have, we don't know what we have. Most of the time we don't know what we have at all, my Lord. Yeah, decide if we know what we have and what we could do with what we have, we will now say, sky is the limit. You see, like I now say we can reach 4 wings of the earth with what we have. You see it? So when it comes to nation building, right? Nations have flowed to Bubble Hill. When I say nation, not just races, but people that belong to different memberships, people that belong to different organizations, different tribes in Africa, and all of these things. nations have flowed right there to Bubble Hill, but this is what we do with it, what we make out of it. That is what is going on. That is what we have to pay attention to. So we are nothing lacking. You see it? All we really lacking is, that intelligence of how to connect with people the right way and to work with people. We are lacking attitude. We have a whole lot of settings and knowledge and all of these things, everything right there, my Lord and Empress. But you see, attitude, yeah, simple as that. You might think it's some big, big thing we have to do, Just change the attitude towards people, towards how we deal with people, how we deal government to government, how we stand up in our international office, how we represent ourselves to the world of people in our international office. You understand? These are the kind of attitudes, the way how we publish. You see it? These are the attitudes we have to change. You see it? So, yes, my Lord and Empress. It's just that is the point I'm bringing. We have everything to bring nation building. We have settings, but we just need to have it operational. Not just the tabernacle, all settings of the Congress. My Lord and Empress.
Sure.
Three times, yeah?
Wonderful, my Lord.
That's a lot, my
Wonderful, sir.
Lord.
Who asked for the chair?
Why not?
Someone just
Praise
asked for
them
the
as
chair.
well. Praise
For
them
the
as
I'm
floor.
well.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Honorable chair, give him the
Yes,
floor.
yeah.
Honorable
Peace
priest
out.
as well. Priest.
Peace out. That I saying something.
Yes, my Lord.
Yeah.
Continue.
Fire German.
Blessed love, my Lord and Majesty. Give thanks for our great reasoning of understanding. Give thanks for the celebration going through before anything else. 134th representation of the light of this world and the opportunity to break all barriers was the highest rank ever. And the other day we commemorate the empresses for the great duties that they have done. Always ahead of man, always doing it. It surprised me to know some things today. I really thanks to the empresses, information for their research and for the fact that we need to be in the open to keep us and more balance and when we acknowledge things, we are responsible. So we are responsible for everything that we happen going forward. I agree that there's always things missing, and there are situations on the both genders, so we can even be a gender situation. The more important thing is our purpose that allows I and I to accomplish and achieve certain goals to make life on the planet better without anything negative, without acquiring from any outside sources or any strange beliefs or things which might be a risk, a chance, a game, or just someone's opinion, because our opinion is just a fact. And we deal with more than the opinion, It's just proven fact. It's not our opinion, it's a fact. And it takes us away from the painful situations that we are having. So we big up the empresses and them for all their duties and all their performances, all how they taught us and all the pain that they bear through man and through themselves too and through other things, because they brought pain upon us. But we are not in question at this time here, because we just kind of dropped our responsibility as man and kind of went hard on the empresses who have come to recover and revive. So we give thanks for that. We are all equal and we have different duties. Let us continue our duties as we visualize and analyze our future to find our purpose in life, because we need to discover what we are created for. And so much things happen, so much changes. We need to study a lot of things beyond just negativity. So give thanks for the celebration, that we can celebrate 134 years of vision, of life, of something that started And Rastafari came to us and show us the God in ourselves that we can acquire. The prophet came, he played his part. The priest took us to school as we are in school today. Just work to achieve and accomplish our objectives and relate to our minutes. After our meeting, we must relate to the meeting minutes from last meeting. I think that's the only thing I find, need to be checking up on. But we are doing a great job, and I love everyone listening, and I feel that everyone just let's start again every day and do that which is right. We got the Empress League, we got the kings, all the emperors, all the man of right, the empresses of right, and the prince and princess of right, the right family. Yeah, Rastafari. Bless and love to one and all. My Lord.
My Lord, bless. And I look to come down at this moment, if no one have nothing more to say, and get a priest to
Yeah, let me take my chance because I've been waiting. I've been giving everyone a chance to go through. I wanted to speak my to see. Yeah.
Go ahead, priest.
Talk about three individuals in this whole cosmic of things that fits into the principles that our father established. I'm saying churchical, statical, governmental, sabbatical. Now you have the churchical, which is Melchizedek, the high priest, and his
Yeah, we in here, priest. We not hearing you.
Tell me when you hear me, fire.
Yeah, we hearing you. We hearing you.
Yeah, I said you have the three goddess. See, one represents the government, which is Emperor Haile Selassie the First. The church we don't know is Melchizedek, the high priest. Then you have the statical man, which is the honorable prophet Marcus Garvey. See, three different individuals, but working towards the same initial outcome, nation development. But they choose three different roads to master. Now, what makes our father unique, King Emmanuel? He said he came to finish the work of Marcus Garvey. This is his words. Everybody hear him say it on the tape. He came to finish the work of Marcus Garvey. I ask this question all the time, and I think ones don't really understand it or take it for granted. What is the work of Marcus Garvey? Marcus Garvey did not come to establish the church. We don't establish that already by knowing that Melchizedek come to do that. Marcus Garvey did not come to establish the government. We know that the emperor came and did that. In the statical affairs, Marcus Garvey mastered that. He taught us how to be economically successful, how to build, how to develop our social structure. See, what is the problem or what is the drawback within Rastafari at this present moment is that we are unable to do what King Emmanuel did, to understand the three facets of the work, the three departments, and know how to apply them equally, seeking and giving the value that they hold. And what do I mean by that? We said that the father used to be an agitator. Letters and his voice used to be heard in anything that affected the Pan-African development, meaning African people globally. Now, one will say we haven't stopped, but I want to know what constitutes a stop. If in 32 years we have not done anything within that government office, That's more than stop. That's more than shut down. You know how many generations in between there and how many ones have passed away in between those 32 years. And again, we will say we don't lack anything because our Father established these things. He gave us a blueprint or a black print, just like the Honorable Prophet gave us a black print. It's a schematics. But we have to apply that schematics to our development. And we have not done that, or we are not able to do that up to this point. We have survived. And as someone said in the reasoning, just that alone needs to be commended. Yes, because all odds are always against us. So our survival is a miracle of its own. But that is still not enough. Surviving cannot be the medal that we seek. The man said to put your thing high, so you keep reaching for it. That cannot be the highest of standard that we are looking to achieve. Survival. We are looking to achieve nationhood. That is what Garvey started. The black print of how to build a nation. Through economic foundation, through collaboration, see, through, like he said it plain, one God, one aim, one destiny. And that oneness is not being clone-like or being a yes man. That oneness comes from understanding what the mission is, what the end goal is, what the medal is supposed to be. And when we understand that, then we will be able to see our shortcomings and how to make them longer. Or in a better framework, how to get rid of those shortcomings, see, and achieve the objectives that we are seeking. But until we understand how to do that, we will continue to struggle as we are struggling right now in this fullness here. So, I would say to I and I, all right, we're looking at the coming forth by day, looking at the afterlife, looking back at the Sankofa, what our sisters achieved during their advancement towards I and I struggle. How did they achieve it? Can we now do the same thing in a modern way, using the same foundational principles? Because if you listen to all of the daughters them that were spoken about, all of the queens them that they gave you a little short bio on, they each had different skill sets, different approaches to the same mission, to the same objective. But what they had that we today don't have, and Mama Lily named it, and I will end with that, see, is that militancy.
I said.
Yes, we no longer hold that militant mindset, to understand that, yes, our spirituality is ultimately important, but at the same time, yeah, we need money to run the church. Because we're living in a money world. The church need roof. Where will get the roof? Go beg it? No, we are not beggars or jobbers. We are gods. So we create our reality for ourselves. So how do we do that? By creating a revenue system, a monetary system. Is man make money, and money is out there to be made by any man. So what is stopping us from achieving the fullness that we need to build this government and this church in the way that it's supposed to build? And it is two entities, it's two institutions, and we do it an injustice if we act like it's one institution. Because what we do is lessen our arsenal, our ammunition, our weaponry. We lessen it by acting like it's one institution. It's two institutions, family. Government, church. The EABIC is the government. See, the True Divine Church of Salvation is the church. They function together because we found a formula that works for us. We understand that together it makes our representation and our representatives the wholesome person that they're supposed to be. But it's two entities, and we have to
Definitely.
understand them both. And we have to understand them both for them to function effectively and efficiently. And that is not being understood. Because if we are thinking that between 1994 and now, we have done anything in advocacy towards freedom, redemption, international repatriation, the mission of the king that he left us on, we are just telling ourselves Nancy stories. See, we have to have tangible proof. Yes, my lord, and I'll end with it. We have to have tangible proof, family. We have to show the institution. What we are showing is a broken vehicle. See, and our early conversation endorsed that, where the Honorable Chair had to rise a celebration in his personal domain to inspire the foundation there to do what they're supposed to do, being the foundation there. That's what we are up against. See? And if we are not, and I will end with this directly and leave this in your minds, if we are not, all of us, each and every one who calls is called a Bobo Ashanti or Bobo Shanti, whatever way you want to term it. If we are not willing to come to a table and to discuss what is our future, how do we advance in this present, we will not solve the problems. They will continue to be compounded until they become an, one of the millstone around the neck.
To the chair.
Best of luck, family. Close.
My lord.
To the chair.
Yes, I.
If I may say, right, this conversation, Keisha Savannah, very important. I came in late, but it's very important. I know it's going to close off, but it is important because the empresses and the queens who did what they did, one thing they never pressed for was the repatriation. That will make the whole thing change to what we are doing today. The repatriation from the 21st century, repatriation from the West to Africa has evolved from a micro museum to a debate of significant multi-dimensional movement focusing on returning to the looted movement and the kidnap. And all our cultural artifacts and ancestral remains are broadly to be returned. We demand that structural repatriation for colonial injustice. This process aims to restore cultural dignity and reappropriate our heritage, challenge the lingering neo-colonial power dynamics that have driven and intensifying pressure on the African Association with key aspects of preventing us from uniting so we can't get our repatriation. So we don't have no time to study a constructive conversation, how we are going to plan our way out. We try to run into this and run out of the meeting and run in too much. After all that, right on our Keisha Savannah, I said, I think I am continuing saying something. You have to have an ongoing profile of what we are going to do. We have to get economic justice, moving beyond the overall international financial system that cannot address our situation, our plight. Discuss no African nation, nothing for us. All you are creating is websites to structure just the scientific transformation address with their lasting impacts of slavery and colonialism, pitching the apartheid technical thing and profounding African autonomy. And I argue, and I feel here EABIC, we need, I will say, political accountability from them and those. reforming our global institutes to ensure Africa, to our architects, to do our international policy and stop shifting away from the scramble to restore Africa. Because they had a scramble for Africa. We have to scramble again, and our movement must be gaining momentum, and we must mark the point of Tisha Savannah and all the wise head spoke of today. Let us unite and demand readiness for our historical injustice. My Lord and Majesty, sorry for being so long. I think it was important. My Lord and Majesty.
Listen, my Lord. I give thanks for our contribution and give thanks for another day of reasoning. And we see it's a lot of work to be done. You know? Yeah. Harvest is ripe. So we, the few laborers, take time and do what the Father tells us to do, you know? Work in salvation, the end of the earth. Most High Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Priest Earl, Honorable Priest, you can bring down the reason, my Lord. If no one have nothing else to say, no say a word.
Honorable Chair.
My Lord.
My Lord and Empress, give thanks, for the 134th, which is 3 and 4 and 1 is 7. And you come to 8 to 1, which is infinity. And give thanks for the woman them, because as the scripture said, they was created to be a helpmeet. So the man need the woman. And the oldest bones they ever find is of a woman. So we give thanks for the Empress them, and give thanks for the power of the Empress them, in all the wars and all the fights. Because as we know, some of the man them didn't stand up, and it had to be the woman them who had to stand up. Right, that's all in St. Croix, is the woman them who had to stand up. Just like it was with Nzinga and Ashanti. They had to stand up. So we give thanks for the mother creation, because without her, Ghana would have given the stool, the golden stool. Is the woman who stand up and defend. And same way, in the scriptures, the church is referred to as a woman awaiting the bridegroom, Holy Emmanuel, Selassie.
Yeah. Rastafari.
My Lord.
My Lord. Give thanks and every priest. Glad to hear your voice once more.
Sure,
and every priest Earl.
me.
Aye. And every priest said they can bring down the moments.
One moment, Shanti. One moment, Shanti. Priest Alumna, I want to try and come up there by you, because my microphone ain't too good. You check if we could sit in together next week coming. Come and get me, please, by the grace
But
of
your
God.
microphone singing good now.
Real good right now.
Real good
but
right now.
Still come through for me next Sunday, Shanti. Harry?
All right.
Harry, give thanks. Bless the Lord.
My Lord, bless.
My Lord.
And have a priest, read out.
Yes, Royal Family, do give thanks, for the gathering. And give thanks to I and I, who is here, because what this gathering is for. That's why we are here. Yes, ask your virtual reverence,
Reverence.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for us brethren and our sisters to dwell together in unity and in love. It's like the precious ointment that is upon the head that run down upon the beard, even here and there that went down upon the skirt of his garment. As you do for a man, and as you do that ascend upon the mountain of Zion. For here Rastafari command the blessing, even life and love forevermore. So hail our God, Selassie, Jehovah God, the Rastafari. O Almighty God, the Rastafari, great and terrible God, the Rastafari is the Almighty God. They are seated in Zion and reign the hearts of all flesh. With our most high eternal Father, Jehovah God, the Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us all. Cause thy holy face to shine upon us, thy children, that I and I shall be saved on the day How thou most high God, Jah Rastafari. Yes, royal family, do give thanks to the 30 and 4, birth strong of I divine majesty, Yes, I normally do that chant the 133rd Psalms, Still, coming after the 133rd, I give thanks to the 130 and 4, Yes, And it's one of the short Psalms, which really say, behold, bless ye the Lord and all the servant of the Lord, which by night standeth in the house of the Lord. Lift up your hand in the sanctuary and bless the Lord. The Lord made heaven and earth and blessed the out of Zion with Emmanuel, King
Selassie, Jah
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Yeah, man, say, and I win out, not through your seat, I go and say, for the man go through, and, what I mean? I mean, yeah, them have to go, drastically carry home because you swear Babylon make them up eyes and see it not what is going on. One perfect love, royal family.
Honorable priest, Majesty
My
bless.
Majesty.
Each and every
Lion
one.
song.
Majesty. Glorify. Empress Trisha, blessed.
Give thanks again, royal family, for the moments. My Lord and
Honorable
Majesty.
Adigan, blessed love. Yes,
God.
King
I.
Adigan.
Yes,
Yes,
I.
yes, please.
All the empresses.
Rastafari.
Blessed
Man, them
love.
rocks on my Congo in sin.